go the Giants.
Here's the lineup for the Giants. Larry Herndon in left field. He's been a center fielder in this ball club before. Billy North in center. Jackie Clark, a highly underrated player. You don't hear much about him in right field. Darrell Evans is at third base for the Giants. Joe Patini is at shortstop. One of the youngsters came up and filled in so well for Dave Bristol. Rennie Stennon at second. Mike Ivey at first. Mike Sadek off the disabled list a couple of days ago. Behind the plate, and Vida Blue. He's been on the disabled list for over a month. Out with a pinched nerve, herniated disc in his neck.
Tell you, they need him, Tony. They need him. Round here last night as we watched the Giants and the Cubs play, they were talking about Oakland getting to 500 and the Giants getting there at the same time, but the Cubbies, Bruce Sutter especially, made sure that they didn't reach 500. There are the stats on Vida Blue.
Vida Blue, a man who in 1971 was the most valuable player and Cy Young Award winner of the American League, and that was a great ball club he was part of. Pitching staff of Blue, Catfish Hunter, Holtzman. Of course, out of the bullpen, they had the guy who's probably been the best relief pitcher throughout the decades of the 70s, for that entire decade, Raleigh Fingers.
Vida Blue in 1980 has been averaging 4.9 strikeouts per 9 innings, 2.3 walks per 9 innings. In 79, it was a 5.2 strikeout ratio, 4.2 walks. Vida Blue, boy, who can not remember when he came onto the baseball scene with that great name, Vida Blue. And what a job he did.
One of the guys that Charlie Finley wanted to change the name, and wanted him to officially change his name legally to True Blue, and he refused.
Well, that's when Charlie was on that nickname kick, wasn't it? Was it Blue Moon Odom, Catfish Hunter? Here's Ivan De Jesus, and what a ball player he's been for the Chicago Cubs. He's got 3 home runs, 21 runs batted in, hitting at .266.
Very quietly, the Giants have sneaked into the Western Division pennant race. They're just 6.5 games back. Houston, half a game ahead of Los Angeles. Houston is, and Cincinnati 4 games out.
Say, we're going to take a close look at the standings and hopefully some of the leaders. I tell you, it's getting that time of the year when you start to look, because they're starting to separate and they're starting to bunch, depending on which league you look at. De Jesus came with Bill Buckner and Jeff Elbert from the Dodgers for Rick Monday and Mike Gorman. First pitch of the ball game is high, and it's ball 1. That's a pretty good trade.
Well, De Jesus was stuck in that Dodger organization for a few years. He made the conversion from the outfield, Russell to short. De Jesus found a home here.
1 ball and 1 strike, good fastball. The wind will always be a factor here at Candlestick, and is now blowing towards left center field, but it swirls, and ball players and everybody watches those flags. That's out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Vida Blue was talking about the ball game coming off the disabled list around the batting cage, and he said, I will go as hard as I can, as long as I can, and that's the way I've always pitched. Doesn't know how his arm and shoulder will react after being on the disabled list. But his best pitch is his fastball. Then it'll come the slider, and will change up on occasions.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fouled out of play. Tony, I asked him, I said, Blue, how you feeling? And he says, like new money. And I said, brother, the way inflation is going, is that good or bad? He said he feels good. New money, Vida Blue. Right field. Clark. 1 out.
Blue is throwing very well. He threw a couple fastballs by De Jesus. That man right there, Davey Bristol says, is among the top 10 players in the National League. But because he doesn't have a good hitting cast, a power cast around him, they pitch around him so much. He is a good player, and he's just 25.
It brings up Dillard, Steve Dillard. Hitting .236. High ball 1. 2 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Fouls it back.
So I don't know if our fans can see it on their TV screens, but you could tell De Jesus, the first hitter, the first two swings were a little bit bigger. Then when he found out how hard Vida's throwing, he cut down the swing and he was still late. You see hitters do that on Vida. They try and make their swing a little shorter and more compact, because he's thrown very hard so far today.
2 balls and 1 strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cubs got Dillard from the Detroit Tigers. It was a cash deal, 1979. Born Memphis, Tennessee. High. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Mike Sadek behind the plate. And a very big guy, gives a good target, nice low target. And here comes Blue with the payoff pitch. Struck him out. So they're 2 away.
He is making that Sadek catcher's glove pop too, isn't he? You can hear it all the way up here.
Bill Buckner is a batter. Buckner hitting .320, has 5 home runs, 39 runs batted in. As we mentioned, he was part of that. In fact, he was probably the big man in that deal with De Jesus and Jeff Albert. Rick Monday and Mike Gorman went to the Dodgers. Born in Vallejo, California, 6'1", 185. I always thought he'd be great in a Western. He looks so rawhide kind of guy. He's a good-looking guy, Bill Buckner. Takes it low, ball 1.
He's got that Westerner's hell for bent kind of attitude when he plays, too. He's playing right now with a broken finger. He got it when he moved to left field and dove for a ball, and he fractured the finger on his right hand. Missed a day or two, and he's right back in the lineup, and you've heard all about his ankles and ankle surgery and everything else.
2 balls and no strikes. When you watch him get ready for a ball game in the clubhouse, it's like watching a rerun of MASH. He gets ready in sections. He soaks his legs. He tapes his knee. Now it's his finger. But he plays, and that's how you judge him, and plays hard. Bill Buckner. Fouls it straight back. That's out of play.
He's the kind of guy who rarely strikes out. Like last season, he was the 3rd toughest in the league to strike out. 1 every 22.4 at bats. Boy, Steve Dans boils it down to the hundredths for you, doesn't he? The stat man. This season, he's the toughest in the league to strike out. 8 times and over 318 at bats.
2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Ball game just underway. No score. Foul out of play. Statistics always get me, Tony, when they say a guy went 5 1/3 innings or 5 2/3. I know it's outs, but you wonder. He either goes 5 or he goes 6. What's the third? But that's the way they do it. Or like Vida Blue, who averages 5.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. What does that 2 mean there, Dan's? 2 strikes?
2 hitters in 1 inning.
I see.
Come on.
Well, you know, make it easy for the guys. Buckner throws his bat, pops it up. Mike Ivy shading his eyes, has room, foul territory, makes the play. 3 up and 3 down. So we go into the bottom half of the 1st inning. There is no score, and the Giants will send up North, Patini, and Clark.
You know, it's amazing how similar we are. We have the same last name.
And we both played baseball for the same team.
We even drank the same beer, light beer from Miller.
And we drink it for the same reason. Light has 1/3 less calories than their regular beer.
And it's less filling.
But we drink it because it tastes so great.
Now, I know we're incredibly alike, but don't be confused. We are not identical twins.
I'm at least 2 inches taller than he is.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
With me today is my young son, Lance. Our lineup for today's game, leading off our get-on-base guy, Billy North, who's done a fantastic job all year. Hitting second, the shortstop, Joe Patini. Our 3rd place hitter, Jack Clark. He's the guy that we count on to drive in the big runs for us, and he's done it all year. Hitting 4th, Darrell Evans at 3rd base. Hitting 5th, one of our hot hitters of last month and driving in a lot of runs for us, Larry Herndon. Hitting 6th, our 1st baseman, Mike Ivy. Hitting 7th, the 2nd baseman, Rennie Stennett. Hitting 8th, the catcher, Mike Sadek. And today's starting pitcher coming back from the disabled list and who meant so much to our club the first half of the season, and we're happy to have him back, Vida Blue.
Good job, Dad. You can have Joe Garagio's job.
I didn't know that was coming in there. You know, he came right over to me right after he did that, Tony, and he said, you know, I tried to call my mom, but the line was busy, and we had to explain to him that it was blacked out here and tried to convince him to have Mom fly up to Los Angeles so she could see the game. Nice young man. He was out there with young Lefevre running around before the game.
Dennis Lamb for the Cubs, 9-8. Not a very impressive ERA, but in Wrigley Field with that wind blowing out a lot, the ERAs will be a little bit higher for the Cub pitchers as they will for Red Sox pitchers in the American League. He's a control pitcher, sinker baller, little slider. So a changeup that looked like a screwball at times. But the big problem, Joe, for a guy who doesn't throw hard, he walks too many guys. Look at the walk, 47 and 133 innings pitched.
Not very good. Although, in 79, 2.1 walks per 9 innings was his average.
Here Randall really up close at third and creeping in, Joe.
Lamp is going to have to make the play, and he does. So North is out. He's the get-on-base guy.
Tell you what's going to make it tough on a pitcher like Lamp today, a sinker baller. The Giants are playing good baseball. They've got a little speed, but this infield right here, some have called it a rock pile and worse. And it is hard, and because of the wind here, they put pebbles on this field so it doesn't blow into the infielder's eyes. And when they do that, they have to make it hard as a rock. It is a tough infield to play on.
Dave Winfield says it's not an infield, it's a freeway. Here is Patini. Giuseppe Paolo Patini. Joe Paul Patini from Wheeling, West Virginia. 25 years old. Born in Wheeling, now lives in Windsor Heights. 2 balls and 1 strike, 1 man out, no score in the game, bottom half of the first. Right up the middle, DeJesus can't get it. He gave it a good try, Tony.
With Patini's speed, he was playing about halfway, and the ball just kept on scooting by him. In fact, when it came off the grass and it hit the red clay dirt, it seemed to pick up speed, and almost as if it was an artificial surface. Patini can run. Stole 15 bases at Phoenix. I'll let me correct that.
In 79, he had 11 at Denver, where he hit 294.
Stole 15 at Phoenix this year before he was called up. An 85 ball game. He's very quick.
And here is Jackie Clark, 19 home runs, 16 runs batted in, hitting 289. Draws the throw. At the end of April, Clark was hitting 193 and had only 2 home runs and 5 RBIs, and the Giants were at 6 and 14. But since May 1, he's hitting 311 with 17 home runs, 56 runs batted in, 44 and 38, the Giant record. Does that tell you something about what he means at his club?
He makes a lot of hard outs. Hits the ball hard consistently. Can drive the ball to right field out of the ballpark, center or left. And he's a good outfielder. He can run.
Well hit, left center field, way back, way back. That ball's out of here. Jackie Clark, a 2-run homer. That's his 20th home run of the year. Now has driven in 63 runs.
Joe, that ball was a breaking ball, it looked like, away. Let's watch it. He stands away from the plate and goes into the ball. Look where the pitch is. Well, kind of down and about the outside part of the plate. He just reached out and a terrible sound for a catcher. Did you hear the crack?
Awful sound. Awful sound. 1 strike to count on Darrell Evans. That's a classic swing, though. You can see his, both hands on the bat. Outside, 1-1. Head was down. You can see his weight shift. Good follow through. A classic picture. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 out, 2 runs are in. Giants jump out to a 2-0 lead. There's the strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Evans, 12 home runs, 46 runs batted in, hitting 259. Lines one foul past the third baseman, Lenny Randall. Evans, who comes from a real athletic family. Mother was a softball player, I think an aunt.
He used to call them up when he was in a hitting slump, and they'd give him hitting tips.
Wouldn't that be great? Hey, Mom, am I overstriding? What am I doing wrong? They're going to get him this time. Dillard over to Johnson. And Evans is out. Brings up Herndon. 7 home runs, 40 runs batted in, hitting at .256. Larry Herndon.
He has been a red-hot hitter for this ball club lately. In fact, Davey Bristol against some left-handers has batted in cleanup. Put on a little weight, came off knee surgery a couple of years ago. He's an excellent player.
Randall's going to have to hustle. I don't know if he's going to get him. Oh, brother. He might have come off that bag just a little bit soon, let's put it that way. But at any rate, he is out. Giants scored 2 runs at the end of 1. It's San Francisco 2, Cubs nothing. It'll be Johnson, Martin, and Randall for the Cubs in the second.
In a battle of the unbeaten, with the winner taking a step toward a title shot Friday.
Here's the replay on the ball that was hit by Herndon. Thought that maybe Johnson got off the bag, but first base umpire Joe West, dead right. Look at Johnson limping. I wonder if he got stepped on. Never know with him, though. So he was out. Good call by Joe West. And next week's fight card. NBC Friday Night Fights are back. Hope you had a chance to watch that one last night. Good fight. Chiaverini really took a beating. Benitez was the winner. Next Friday night, Curtis Parker against Dwight Davison. Parker undefeated, and so is Davison. 10 rounds. Live from Las Vegas, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. 12 rounds. Inflation hit boxing. Way up there. I mean, a major leaguer. Nice play by Patini.
Day baseball, this could be the toughest park of all for pop-ups and high fly balls. Usually a high sky, very few clouds in the sky. With the swirling winds, it is tough. Joe Patini.
Watching a guy hit a ball like that reminds me of a guy we saw in the ballpark, Farmer Cardinal, Joe Orengo, a second baseman. He used to have an uppercut swing, and I was teasing him about it. That's the way he'd hit him. I mean, he'd hit him way up there, and infielders would just have all kinds of problems. 1 ball, no strikes on Jerry Martin. In fact, he'd hit those pop flies, and when they drop, he'd end up on second base.
And you can see how the Giants know this ballpark. Because when the ball went up, not only did Blue run over to yell somebody off, but Darrell Evans, the third baseman, and the second baseman, Stennett, were standing right nearby Patini in case he lost it at the last second. Blue is throwing very hard. Look at that.
He's just blowing it right by him. 2 balls and 1 strike on Martin, who has 17 home runs, 49 runs batted in. Martin hit a 2-run blast last night.
Remember Dave Duncan when he caught him at Oakland. Duncan, now a coach, talking about Blue and about his fastball, how it explodes when it's downstairs.
Right center field could be trouble. Coming fast is Clark. He can't get it, and Martin is on with the base hit. Martin, who was involved with Barry Foote, Sizemore, and Henry Mack, and Derek Botello from the Phillies for Manny Trio, Dave Rader, and Greg Gross. That was a big deal. Martin has really paid off for these Cubs. Brings up Lenny Randall, who's hitting at .268, 4 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Randall bounced around, but he's been a find for these Cubs. 2-0. Giants are leading. Ball 1. 1 man out. Mike Ivy holding the base runner, Jerry Martin.
It's been quite a story, the Mike Ivy story around the Bay Area. He has experienced personal problems, left the ball club, retired, then came back the other night. Dave Bristol was quoted as saying, I took him out of the lineup because he wasn't in a mood to play. Strike. In fact, Jimmy Lefevre came out, one of their coaches, very strongly, Ivy, when he left the ball club, and said he deserted the club. And much more strong things than that. But this ball club needs him if they're going to contend this year and stay in contention. They need Ivy.
High 2-1. It's a very delicate situation. Ivy, a sensitive player. And, well, Dave Bristol had some comments about it. Hopefully we'll be able to get him on for you. A lot of debris blowing by, as you can see it all afternoon. Remember the old line Lou Burdett said, if you want to read the morning paper, you can just sit on the bench and read it as it blows by.
Look at
Almost had him for some reason. Martin looked like he was hypnotized.
He may have taken his eye off Blue and the ball and looked at the bag to check to see how far his lead was. When he did, Blue almost got him. Blue doesn't have a real good move to first base. He will unload the ball more quickly to home with a man on base, though.
Look out, the bat slips right into the dugout. Randall fouls it off. The bat went farther than the ball. So I guess the bats are livelier this year. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Base runner on at first base is Martin. Giants leading 2-0 in the second.
You watch Vida Blue when he pitches from the stretch with that very high knee kick. And the good base stealers will take advantage of it. The Cubs, as we mentioned earlier, don't have a whole lot of base stealers.
And yet, oddly enough, Tony, last night we both talked about it, how they kept pitching out the Giants. Outside to Randall, 3-2. Now you got it. Do you run the man? I would think he'd be going with Randall in the batter's box. Let's see if Amalfitano starts him. Draws a throw. They call a ball.
Said he stepped. Joe West to say he stepped too much toward home plate, not enough toward first base. Left-handed pitchers will cheat, and we'll get a look at it. So 3-2, whether Martin was going or not. Watch the right leg and foot. Kicks the knee. No, I'll tell you what he called. You know what he called? He called that his right foot, his front foot, went past the rubber. Went past the rubber to the center field side, and when he went to first base, it was a ball.
He really tried to fake him with that move and the head move. Could have called 2 or 3 ways. That was the most flagrant. Base on balls.
Now, that rule has always been, as I understand it, in the rules to the umpires in the National League, where a pitcher, his foot goes by the rubber toward the center field side, it's a balk. They tell me in the American League it was never there, although I guess it is now. But you talk to different umpires, and they will give you different stories.
Here's Figueroa, a late starter. He was originally signed by the Yankees in 1975. Here's a look at
Watch the right leg of Vida Blue, the right foot. When it went by, the judgment of Joe West, the umpire, went by the rubber towards center field, and then he did step too much more, so he probably got him 2 ways. More toward home plate, the first baseman he threw, he called a ball.
1 ball, 1 strike. Just looking at that replay, Tony, looks like he could have got him 3 ways. Going past there, where he stepped with his head, went to the plate, the first back to the plate, started.
Look out. All of a sudden, Vida's gotten wild high.
Figueroa hitting .276. No home runs. Right back to Vida Blue. He's going to go to second. 1. That's all they're going to get. Moving to third, Martin.
Show what kind of athlete Vida is. There are some pitchers who might not have tried for that force out on that little chopper, especially with a Randall with runners on first and second moving off first base. But he gets the ball and knows exactly what he wants to do. He looked first, then he made the throw, just barely got the force out, so he kept the force out in order.
Look at his hand, Tony. He's just ready to bump him, just conveniently.
Very wisely, the youngster, Patini, did not try and throw to first, where he might have thrown wildly. He picked up and looked right at third base at Jerry Martin.
So there are 2 away, and it brings up Blackwell. 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in, hitting at .246. Line drive. Oh, what a play by Rennie Stennett. That saved a couple runs. And that ends the inning. So we go to the bottom half of the second inning. San Francisco 2, Chicago nothing. Ivy, Stennett, and Sadak for the Giants.
For a fair catch. That's the kind of guy who'll do something like this. Hook you around the leg and try and knock you down.
So that was the play to force out. Bottom half of the second inning. Tomorrow now we got a special edition for you of NBC Sports World, and I mean a special edition. We're going to begin right from Afghanistan to the winter stand. Ivy takes a strike. Take a step-by-step look at the history and the high points of the 1980 Olympics. Certainly see the Battle of Britain, Coe and Ovett. And then we'll watch Nadia, Alexandra Itiatin, 8 medals. Brian Gumbel, Bruce Jenner. Brian Gumbel will be the host along with Bruce Jenner and many of the others. As Ivy hits one to right field, he's got himself a base hit. Extra bases. Ivy's on with a double. So that's Sports World tomorrow now. A special edition from Afghanistan to the winter stand, a step-by-step look.
Mike Ivy has been hitting the ball a little more since he's come back from his retirement, voluntary retirement to right field. Did you see the scar in his right hand, Joe? He was hunting last year, and when he cleaned out a deer he'd gotten, and then when he was cleaning the knife, he dropped and cut a tendon in his finger. They had to do surgery to correct and put 60 stitches through his little finger on the right side of his right hand. He can't hold on to the bat till this day.
Bouncing ball to Randall, looks Ivy back, and Stennett is out. Tony, I heard a story, and well, let's pause for station identification first. This is the NBC television network.
Channel 23, KNDO, Yakima.
Story on Ivy on that injury that when he got hurt that they just bandaged it, and then he came to San Francisco, and Spec Richardson looked at it and said, you better get that thing looked at, and that's when he took the 60 stitches.
As Michael says, he said, when the first doctor I went to didn't know anything about sports medicine and didn't know how to treat it, and that my livelihood depended on gripping that bat, and when that tendon was severed, you had to go and have it redone and cut and reattached.
Little looper, but not far enough, and Sadek is an easy out as he pops to Dillard. Brings up Vida Blue.
You know, you go rehash this inning, and you look at Ivy's double very quickly. Stennett didn't do a very good job jumping on the first pitch, hitting the ball on the left side. He should have been thinking one thing, get my pitch, at least take one shot to right field. He just wailed away at the first pitch and chopped it to third, so Ivy's still standing there at second base.
Vida Blue, and I tell you, he loves to swing that bat. Batter, not very much, although he's got 3 home runs. He's been to bat 336 times in his lifetime, coming into this year with 33 base hits. He's trying to switch hit, but hitting no 98. Not very lucky. Pulls it foul.
I'd say his record in 71, that was his first complete year with Oakland in the major leagues. 24 wins, 8 losses. Remarkable. Struck out 301.
Foul tip. No, just didn't come up with it. So they throw him out. And that ends the inning. Giants go down. And at the end of 2 complete innings, it's San Francisco 2. The Chicago Cubs nothing. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
We're back at Candlestick Park on a brisk day with the Giants leading 2-0 over the Cubs. Ken Boyer, special assignment scout now for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's the man in the, I guess, peach shirt according to our monitor. The man in the gray hair behind him is Tony Pacheco. He's a scout for Houston. Milt Kraft also with Pittsburgh with the chart in front of him. All advanced scouting, evaluating players.
Getting that time of the year, Dennis Lamb fouls one off. Houston leading the National League West by a half game over the Dodgers. Houston 56-45, the Dodgers 56-46. Cincinnati 4 games out. 2 strikes.
See a little late. See a little late.
He certainly is.
The ball right out of Sadek's glove.
Montreal and Philadelphia, National League East, virtual tie. Phillies are 2 games back. In our game next week, Pirates and the Phillies. Wasn't late with that one, and Lamp lines one to left field.
How about that?
2 fastballs he can't get around on, so he throws him a lollipop curve.
No balls, 2 strikes. I got to believe Vida was trying to bounce that ball, getting off the plate, and he just hung it belt high inside.
That's one of those pitches when he comes back to the bench, he says, but I didn't want to get it there. And the manager says, I know you didn't, but you did.
First base coach Gene Kleins. Here's the pitch, 0-2. Sadek gives the sign. Like Mike Sadek wanted to reach out there and grab his bat or grab the ball.
So Lamp is on. Here is DeJesus, who flied to right his first time up. Giants lead 2-0. Strike one. DeJesus trying to punch that ball into right field.
DeJesus, one of those guys, just goes unnoticed. You put his name in the lineup every day. He'll steal a base for you. He'll make all the plays in the field.
Pops it up, and it is drifting over near the dugout. Ivy over. Does he have room? Can't get it. Tough son. A lot of room here in this ballpark. He didn't get much help. Fans give him a little bit of a blast.
Ivy kind of drifted over, but as you said, Joe, the wind caused a problem for him. Also, the sun. You can see the sun glaring right off those glasses. He didn't really know where he was.
He didn't know where he was. I think that was the key.
He was so intent on watching the ball and not losing it in the sun, he couldn't leave the ball and find the stands. You know, he's a pretty good fielder. They talk about his fielding at first base. Now he can pick it. They say he's exceptional.
High.
Here's Ivy once again from our center field camera.
One ball, 2 strikes. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Ivy's a kid who they signed as a catcher with San Diego, and I guess he didn't want to catch, and he kept throwing the ball over the pitcher's head. He couldn't throw it back properly.
Boy, that's not rare. That's been a lot of catchers. DeJesus foul tips it, but held on to by Sadek, and that's the second strikeout for Vida Blue. 1 away. California 3, Toronto 1 at the end of 2. LaRoche against Moore now in relief. Woods a home run, his 13th. Thompson in the second with 1 on, his 13th.
Blue getting the sign straight right there with his infielders. Who's taking the throw on the ball? It back to him as he turned around.
Foul ball out of play. We'll give you a rundown on yesterday's scores because a lot of interesting developments. The benches played a big part in a lot of yesterday's games. 1 strike to count on Dillard. He was out on strikes his first time up. Well hit, left field. Way back, hurt near the fence and gone. All tied up.
Vida's thrown 2 breaking balls this inning, and 1 Lamp is rifled to left field, and he just threw another one to Dillard. And I'm not saying this is happening, but Cookie Rojas down at third base is known for his ability to call pitches and steal signs. Learned that from Peanuts Lowry, Leo DeRocher, several others. This is a breaking ball, and you can't be looking for a breaking ball from Vida Blue. It isn't a good one when it's up in the strike zone again and belt high. But I'll tell you what, I'd start thinking, hey, man, they're hitting my breaking ball that good when I'm a fastball pitcher. Maybe they know something.
Here is Buckner. Line drive, base hit, center field. That was off the fastball. That curveball that Dillard hit, Tony, looked like it kind of rolled up there. I would be leery. It just didn't snap off. It was one of those American Legion roundhouse jobs. It just didn't seem to snap. Buckner jumps on a fastball, singles the center field, and he's on. Here is Cliff Johnson. And if there's a guy who's going to have his cuts up there, it's Cliff Johnson.
Dave Bristol, the man of the glasses, Vern Benson. Benson's got a son, Randy, pitching at Syracuse, the Toronto organization, left-hand pitcher.
1 man out here. There's the strike. Buckner was really breaking back towards first. He faked him right out.
Joe, after a balk like that, I would think if the Cubs might want to test him a little bit, take a little bit of bigger lead. Vida might be a little shy throwing over there off the ball called by Joe West. Little lead, try and draw a throw.
Inside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Dillard, with his 3rd home run of the year, has just tied it up. Cliff Johnson came over from Cleveland, and he's really helped this club. High outside. Johnson is second on the club with 4 game-winning RBIs. Buckner leads with 6.
This club really misses Dave Kingman. Last year's Major League home run leader with 48. With his bat out of the lineup, well, they've lost a bunch of one-run games. With his bat in there, you might have 10 victories, maybe more, who knows.
Base hit to left field.
Breaking ball again. 3 out of the 4 base hits this inning have been off Vida's curveball or slider. And that one looked like it was down and in.
I got to think, Tony, that when that happens, what Sadak, he knows that Blue has a good fastball, but doesn't have a good curveball, and he just can't give up on the breaking ball. He's going to try to go out and find it. But now that he's in trouble, he's got to stay with that fastball against a pretty good fastball hitter.
So I wouldn't go away from anything but my good stuff when I'm pitching the 3, 4, and 5 guys in the lineup.
Well, what I'm saying is that he's got to find a curveball, not throw it in the strike zone.
If he can find a curveball, he can find himself in the showers, too, trying to find it.
He ain't going to do it with one pitch, I'll tell you that. I don't care how fast Vida Blue is. If he keeps throwing that fastball, he'll be backing up third for a while, and then he'll be turning on the hot water. I agree. Good fastball. You can hear it pop all the way up here. 2 balls and no strikes. The fellow doesn't have that breaking ball. You stay with it, but you don't expect him to lay it up in the strike zone like he did to Dillard, or like he just did to Johnson. Keep going for it, hoping that they might chase it, and then you get that quick snap. There's the fastball, and he's staying with it now because he's in trouble. 2 balls and 1 strike. He's going to get knocked out. He's got to get knocked out with his best pitch. You can't fall in love with something and then try to finesse him. What got you here is going to keep you here. Fastball again, misses. 3-1. Griffin is the pitcher loosening up for the San Francisco Giants down in the bullpen. Tom Griffin. Fastball high, bases are loaded. And that brings up Lenny Randall.
And it's going to bring Davey Bristol out. But check Vida's condition to see if that problem he had coming up the disabled list, pinched nerve, herniated disc up in his neck, is irritating him.
Tony, let me ask you something now. If you were Lenny Randall and Cookie Rojas is walking over to talk to him now, if Vida Blue stays in the game, he's thrown 2 curveballs that have really been hit, a home run by Dillard and a base hit by Johnson. He just walked Martin with fastballs. Would you go up there looking for a fastball on the first pitch and jump on it?
That's all you can do. Randall's a good base on balls man, too. We've seen him get on base. He's walked 37 times this year, but you know, he's the kind of guy that I got to believe is going to make Vida work a little bit. He's going to take at least 1 strike, but let's see what happens.
I'd have him for the first time in his life. I'd say Whale, because you got the bases loaded, 1 man out. He's got to look for a fastball over the plate in a spot that he wants it and just go to work. If it's anything else, you take it. High. Ball 1. It was a fastball.
Bristol may have come out relaying a message from Don McMahon, the pitching coach for the Giants, about maybe something in the mechanics of Blue they picked up from the sideline. Many managers, in fact, like a lot of managers, send their pitching coaches out. The only time they come out, they're going to take it out of the lineup.
1 man out. It's low, 2-0, and Randall will take a good look at Rojas now.
There's no way you can let him swing now. Blue is trying to adjust. He was wild high in a bunch of pitches this inning, and he tried to throw down, and he finally got the ball down, but down and in. Seems to have to readjust another thing. And it's so complex pitching when you talk to pitching coaches and pitchers.
3-0. Vida Blue way behind. Now Randall, who has a tough strike zone. There you see Bristol, Benson, and McMahon, left to right. Ball 4, walks in the run. Cubs take the lead.
So you've gone out to the mound and been involved in a lot of, well, they get to be pitching clinics sometimes with some guys, but It can be as simple as you want to make it, or it can be very complicated. You listen to some pitchers, and I can recall sitting with Don Drysdale and talking to him about hitting, how tough it's supposed to be, and Drysdale would tell pitching is much more difficult. When you get down to where you should step, and you're off half an inch here, an inch there to throw high and tight or low and away or whatever else, and you can make it very complex.
Certainly
what kind of advice can you give a guy like Blue if you went out there right now?
I'd go out there and say, you got to throw strikes because we got no chance.
He's trying to throw strikes.
I know, but I can't adjust him right here. All you can do is hope to break the mood. If you start to tell him to stride or watch him stride, he'd really be in deep trouble, I think. You start working on mechanics and you're in big trouble.
Look what he's done. He's gone to the stretch.
What a play by Patini!
I'll tell you one thing, this kid's done a heck of a job, Patini. Blue looked like he let up on the ball a little bit, just trying to get the ball in the strike zone. Rifled by Figueroa. Patini diving high in the air to his left. Saves one run, maybe two, Joe, and a big inning, and Blue might have been out of this ballgame with that pitch. Great play by Patini.
I think he would have been gone, Tony. Johnson is still at third. Bases are still loaded. Blackwell lined hard at the second baseman in the second inning. First time up. He's the ninth man to bat in this inning. Cubs have scored 3. They lead 3-2. Ball one. 2 men out.
Billy Williams has put a lot of long, hard hours in with Blackwell, and one of the main things he tells him is, Billy Williams, the hitting coach now with the Cubs, you've got to be more aggressive. Go out and get the ball. Don't sit back and let him knock the bat out of your hand.
All right. 2 balls and no strikes. Blackwell has been hitting pretty good. 17 for 48 since the All-Star break. It's the .354 average. He was only hitting .215 before the break.
Right-hander's hitting .282. Left-hander just .235.
There's the strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 outs. Bases loaded. Johnson at third, Martin's at second, and Randall is at first. Popped up. Going back, Stennett. Coming in, Clark. It's Clark. He makes the play. Cubs take the lead as they score 3. We're going to the bottom of the third. Chicago 3, Giants 2. It'll be North, Patini, and Clark for the Giants. Back. The scores in the National League: Montreal 4, Atlanta 1. Sanderson a 3-hitter. He struck out 10. Negro lost his 14th. Mets 5, Houston 4. Steve Henderson had a 3-run pinch hit home run in that game. Philadelphia 3, Cincinnati 1. Rookie pitcher Bob Walk won his 8th game in 9 decisions. San Diego 1, Pittsburgh 0. Jim Bibby suffered only his 2nd loss. He's 13-2 in both his losses shutouts. It's a 6th straight win for the Padres. Dodgers 2, Cardinals 1, 10 innings. Jay Johnstone tied it in the 9th with a home run, and Joe Ferguson won it in the 10th with a home run. And then the Cubs beat San Francisco 5-3 last night right here. Martin hit his 17th home run. Suter picked up his 22nd save. American League: Texas 7, Boston 5, Kansas City 4, Chicago 3, New York 9, Milwaukee 4. Detroit won a doubleheader from Seattle 1-0 and 5-2. Oakland 2, Cleveland 1, Baltimore 3, Minnesota 2, Toronto 9, California 8. Those were Friday night scores. North takes it outside. A Kansas City win. Larry Gura won his 15th. He's 15-4. Quisenberry his 21st save. North is strike. And Oakland, 2-1 victory. They snapped Cleveland's 8-game winning streak, and the Oakland A's reached 500. That was their 5th in a row. That's lined out of play. Mike Flanagan in that Baltimore win, a 5-hitter. He's 11-8. Yankees scored 7 runs in the first. Guidry won his 12th, and Gorman Thomas, from the losing cause, hit his 22nd and 23rd home run. Buddy Bell 5 for 5. Texas beat Boston 7-5, and Billy North is out of there. Second strikeout for Lamp. First out in the 3rd inning.
Norman Thomas. How many people remember he had led the league in home runs in the American League? I thought it's interesting. This is the first year they've ever given an award to the home run champ. They did it to Norman Thomas earlier this year. They've always given a gold bat, silver bat to the league's leading hitter, never to the home run leader.
Point. Why not?
Pee Wee Reese did it this year.
Base hit. That took a funny hop.
Oh, that infield is something. Dillard thought he was going to backhand and have a shot at the runner. Didn't get it.
Tied with Dusty Baker, number 5 slot in the National League. One ball, no strikes. Garvey leads with 81, Hendrick with 79, and Schmidt with 72. Carter of Montreal with 66, and then Baker and Clark takes it low. Hendrick leads the National League in hitting with 328, then Templeton 326, Reggie Smith 323, Trio 322, and then Buckner with 320. Two balls, no strikes. 3 balls and no strikes. Jackie Clark leads the National League, 15-game winning RBI so far this season. Well, when you talk about leaders, though, that amazing George Brett, 388. Comes off the disabled list, goes on a hitting streak.
Just might be the best all-around player in baseball right now.
Manager,
close. Oh, might be. You get some arguments from a lot of people.
His manager had quite a description of his hitting ability. Jim Fry said he could hit buckshot with a barbed wire. So base runners at first and second now. Here is Evans, bounced out. Second to first in the first inning. Darrell Evans, 6'2", 200-pounder.
He is usually a very patient hitter. Gets a lot of base on balls. There's Joey Malfitano, the man to the left of Joey is Mike Rourke, former catcher, now pitching coach. But with men on base, Evans may jump all over everybody. That's Suter right there, Bruce Suter. He'll stay down there in the dugout till, about 8th or 9th inning. He'll go on down. Cubs are ahead or in the post-ball game.
George center field, Figueroa coming hard, the wind playing tricks. Figueroa makes the play, so Evans is out.
Hey, if you're an infielder, you can't give up as quickly on the ball as Dillard did coming off second base, because when the wind caught it, it was almost an easier play for Dillard than Figueroa. They'll really help each other out in this ballpark.
Here's Larry Herndon. He bounced out third to first in the first inning. 6'3", 190. Born in Sunflower, Mississippi. There's a strike. He was acquired from St. Louis with Tony Gonzalez for Ron Bryant, 1975. Now lives in South San Francisco. Did he go around? Yes, he did, says the first base umpire. The crowd reacts.
Joe West, he's saying, I'm coming through the airport in Chicago yesterday, going to my plane, and who do I run into? Jocko Conlon and Mel Allen.
Where are they going, to Hall of
They
Fame?
go to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown for the ceremonies. And Jocko said to say hi to you, of course, but he got all over umpires for that check swing. Said there is no such thing. Either you swing or you don't. What do you mean? I said, I never call it and I never ask for help. These guys get themselves in a bad position asking for help. Call it. That's all you got to do. The guy just swung or he didn't.
And all you said was hello to Jocko.
He said, tell everybody I'll be 80 years old shortly.
That's right.
He's in great shape, too, I'll tell you.
He goes to the same church I'm doing. I tell you, some Sunday mornings you say hello and he give you the balk roll, the infield flying, and whatever else you want to listen to. And if you don't want to listen, he grabs you. I tell you, he used to have that thing about a half balk. He said, all right, it's a half balk. I'll give you halfway between first and second. Go ahead, go on. Unbelievable. Jocko Conlon. That's right, the Hall of Famers are congratulations to another great group going into that Hall of Fame.
The Duke, Al Kaline.
Chuck Klein, Tom Yawkey, the late Chuck Klein, Mr. Yawkey. Foul out of play. That's Sunday. There'll be the induction ceremonies. Ted Williams will make the acceptance remarks for Mr. Yawkey. Cool Papa Bell will be there. Joe Cronin, Charlie Gehringer, Burley Grimes, Monty Irvin, Jocko Collin, as we said, Judy Johnson, Sandy Koufax, Buck Leonard. Boy, if you're in the area, get over there. Did he go around? No, not this time. Cliff Johnson is begging over at first base. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Base runners at first and second. Giants trail by a run.
That is, most umpires will tell you, the toughest call in baseball for an umpire. The check swing. There's Joe West, and they went to the appeal at first base. Bases are loaded.
What is the check swing? Well, who knows? Here's one they call the check swing.
Now you hear, did he break his wrist? Did his bat go across home plate? Now, here's one where he didn't really break his wrist completely, but the bat crossed home plate. Lamp was already saying that's the first base umpire.
Here's Mike Ivey. Mike Ivey doubled his first time up. He pops this one up. The catcher, Blackwell and Johnson. Blackwell makes the play. So that ends the inning. At the end of 3 complete innings of play here, it's the Cubs 3 and the Giants 2. It's the Cubs 3, the Giants 2. In Toronto, they got quite a ball game going. They're all tied, 3-3. Let's get a report from Toronto. Well, back here in San Francisco, Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek. There's 1 out as Dennis Lamp hit a nice, polite fly ball. Center fielder Billy North brings up the Jesus. Just been handed a press release about that Hall of Fame induction, and I just want to read the list of names. Boy, I tell you, that's impressive. The people that have already made plans to be there. The Jesus takes it to strike 1. Mentioned a bunch of them, but Al Lopez will be there. Stan the Man Musial, Robin Roberts, Joey Sewell, Roy Campanella. De Jesus fouls it off. Earl Averill, Bob Feller, Ralph Kiner. Induction ceremonies 2:30 on Sunday. No admission charge for the induction ceremonies, so you fans take advantage. Also will be honored will be Giants announcer Russ Hodges will get the Ford Frick Award, Bob Bragg of the Post-Dispatch, and Tommy Holmes of the Brooklyn Eagle and Herald Tribune will get the J.G. Taylor Spink Award.
They just put, what, $3 million into the Hall of Fame? A letter from Bill Guilfoyle, where they really renovated and made everything look much more attractive the way they presented. It's a great trip to go up there, a great vacation for your family.
What a spot, too, up there in upstate New York. De Jesus fouls it out of play. 2 strikes to count. De Jesus flied to right and was out on strikes.
Looking at the catcher's setting, why wouldn't every catcher, Joe, wear that little protective thing hanging from his mask?
I don't know.
I mean, they give it to you, and you take that shot.
I would
Adam's
wear
apple.
I tell you what I wanted, they never would give them to me because I'm not trying to be funny or anything else. I wanted to put steel toes, you know, those, like they wear in the coal mines in your shoes. It wouldn't hurt or help my speed, but it would sure protect your bunions from those foul tips.
Leo DeRocha wanted a pair of those too, and he got arguments with umpire, kicking the dirt when he used to kick him in the shins. How do you think that would have? Was that with Jocko?
That was Jocko. Jocko got the edge on him.
He kicked him back, didn't he?
He kicked him right back, and Leo didn't have the shin guards on. Joey Malfitano said the first guy to call him when he got the job was DeRocha. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 out. Foul out of play. Those umpires used to kind of wait for Leo. Like Tom Gorman, when he was knocked down on the play, Leo came running out. He said, "What is he? What is he?"
Didn't ask how he was, huh?
No, I didn't ask how Gorman was. He wanted to know what the play was, and Gorman said he had the wrong foot on the bag. He's out. And Leo, 2 innings later, came back and said, "What do you mean, the wrong foot on the bag?" They used to try to get him all the time, but he did a pretty good job getting them, I'll tell you. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That might be the first straight change that Blue has thrown in this ball game.
Somebody told him what to do with that curveball for a while. And pitching coaches have a way of using very colorful descriptions. Three to two. Cubs are out in front. De Jesus takes it outside, and it's 2-2. Dillard a 2-run homer, and Clark a 2-run homer. That's a foul ball out of play.
So I've been watching this infield for the Giants, and we've mentioned the infield, how hard it is. Now, De Jesus runs pretty well, but even when Dennis Lamp was hitting, the left side of the infield, Evans and Patini are playing about halfway depth. It seems like with the hard surface, the dirt surface, they don't want it to hit it. They want to catch the ball off the grass. They're afraid they get so many bad hops and the ball picks up speed. They're cheating in toward the hitter.
De Jesus is out on strikes. And that's the third strikeout for Vida Blue. The second time he got De Jesus.
Here's that low fastball we were talking about earlier. Vida's been high in the strike zone oftentimes today, but he gets this one down and the ball just takes off. Many times a pitcher like Blue to a right-hander outside part of the plate, the ball will tail away. When he gets an inside part of the plate, the ball will sail in.
Right center field, Billy North should have no problem. He doesn't. So it's 1-2-3 for the Cubs in the top of the fourth. We go to the bottom half of the fourth. It's the Chicago Cubs 3, the Giants 2. It'll be Stennett, Sadek, and Blue for the Giants in the fourth. Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek here at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. And a reminder that August 21st, that's when games people play premieres. Tony, one of the things they're going to have is a tug-of-war, and then Gary Coleman will be there with marbles. What do you want in on?
I'm going to be among that great mass of spectatorhood.
Spectatorhood?
You betcha. I'm going to watch it. That's the participating when you get this age.
Okay, ball one. Gary Coleman of different strokes, some hot shot shooters in the Big Blue Marbles tournament. There's the strike. I've got a dandy van, Rennie Stennett. And from, this has got to be one of the most famous amusement parks in the world. There's going to be a hot dog eating competition. Nathan's hot dog eating competition.
Love it. I just got a box of those sent to me.
Foul ball out of play. The premiere is August 21st. That's a Thursday. And it'll be the U.S. Auto Workers against the machinists and aerospace workers in the 2-ton union tug-of-war. And then Gary Coleman in the Big Blue Marbles tournament. Then we got a hot dog eating contest. August 21st, 8 o'clock, and there goes the knockdown contest. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I'll tell you, Lamp is kind of tough at times on right-handed hitters. He throws what might be called a crossfire. Watch this. This ball is down and in on Stennett on a 2-ball, 1-strike pitch. It just keeps tailing in. You can see the movement on that ball. A little push-up right there. But Lamp, when he steps toward third and drops down a little bit, he can be tough.
And those sinker ballers, when they do hit you, oh, does that ball, it just seems to hit you, stop, take a bite, and then it falls out.
There's been quite a story with Rennie Stennett coming back from that severe ankle break. Taking him a long while, but he's got a lot of money now in his pocket. The Giants gave him.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
Interesting stat. Stennett holds a modern-day record. 7 hits and 7 at-bats against the Cubs at Wrigley Field. He did that September 6, 1975.
Center field. But going out is the second baseman Dillard. That wind just brought it right back. It looked like Figueroa was going to make an easy play, but as you mentioned, Tony, they just can't give up on that ball, the infielders.
Tell you what, Stennett came very close when in his disgust, he threw the bat back. He almost got McSherry, the umpire, and the catcher. He's not quite the same player yet that he was before the ankle injury. He really flips this bat. Keep with him. Watch this. Look out. I've seen catchers, when that happens, take that bat and break it.
I tell you, one of the great stories Sadek misses was Evars did that to Torgerson. Broke the bat at home plate. Torgerson went in the dugout, politely took his glasses off, walked up to home plate. Nobody stopped him, and then there was a free-for-all.
Earl wouldn't fight.
Wouldn't fight. He was like, he looked like Clark Kent, and that's the way he'd go. 2-1 pitch. Foul tip. I hated it when guys did that. And guys would deliberately do it. Stanky would just drop it right in front of you on the base on balls, and invariably he'd get it right between your shin guards there, and you try to take a step, and you sound like Gene Krupa. I hated that. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Right, I can hear Stanky now down in Alabama. I couldn't do it. You were in the bullpen. Little looper, left center field. Gonna drop for a base hit. It does. Sadek is on.
Al Blue now with 1 out, probably called on the bunt. Randall will be charged, and the place to go will probably be to Cliff Johnson, who'll have to hold the runner. This Cubs team, and we saw them last night, even during their win, they have not played good baseball defensively. That's something that's Preston Gomez emphasized. Defense, hitting cutoff there, but they just couldn't catch on.
Tried to bunt it to first base, but had a very good attempt and a strike 1. Johnson would be the guy to bunt the ball to.
It's always intrigued me. Every spring training, managers say we're going to emphasize fundamentals. They do for 6 weeks. They get in the season, and very few guys take infield practice. Most of them are in there. They take their hitting. They go have a sandwich or something. They take a lot of extra hitting, but not a whole lot of extra fielding.
Do what you do best. It's easier. Seems to be the philosophy. 2 strikes. Vida Blue. Here's where a pitcher can help himself. Vida's trailing by a run. Cubs are leading 3-2. Outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And I tell you, you look at the great pitchers, those Hall of Famers we talked about.
There's Jimmy Davenport giving some signs at third base. He's a pretty good third baseman, Davenport.
Oh, wasn't he though?
Wow.
Blue bunts it back to Lamb. Only plays the first base, executed. So tying run moves on into scoring position. All those Hall of Famers that I mentioned, you know that they help themselves. Robin Roberts helped himself bunting, fielding, in the batter's box. Warren Spahn. All of them.
Whitey used to steal a base. He'd lull you to sleep. You know, backing up bases.
I guess the simple thing would be to say complete ball player. Here is Billy North. He tapped back to the pitcher in the first inning. He struck out in the third. Tying run is on at second base. Cubs are leading 3-2. We're in the bottom of the 4th.
Perhaps the most complete ball player that I ever saw might have been Bob Gibson. I'll tell you.
He could do it all. Ooh. He could do it all. Fastball misses, ball 1.
And I'm going to include Mays, Mantle, everybody, because remember, they didn't pitch. Gibson pitched, hit, fielded, ran the bases, did everything.
Oh, you can't compare. You're comparing apples and oranges when you do that. Now, if you would have said Klazuski or Kazansky or something like that, I'd agree. North takes it outside. 2 balls, no strikes.
Pick down the Polish fellas.
Can't. Got one in the booth, our audio man.
Here comes Mike Rourke. Let's see, he and Rube are they the only 2 pitching coaches or former catchers? Bob Rogers at one time was a pitching coach. Rourke, a catcher with the Tigers.
Mike, you can see by his movements that he obviously is something mechanical. Lamp on North has been outside, low outside. Usually an indication with the left-hand batter that he's not coming across with the delivery. Of course, the new expression this year, last year was velocity, this year is extension. I do not have enough extension on my arm. Whatever he told him, it worked. There's a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. You hear pitchers talk about that extension. I need more extension at the point of release. Whatever that means. Outside. 3-1 on Billy North. The on-deck batter is Patini. Second base is Sadek. Single moved over on the sacrifice. Cubs lead 3-2. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Left field. Buckner going back should have no problem. He makes the catch. So that ends the inning, and we complete 4 innings of baseball here. Chicago Cubs 3, the Giants 2, Buckner, Johnson, and Martin. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
NBC.
My name's
Lance Bristol. He rolls a nice to almost everybody, I guess. Well, we're going to the 5th inning here in Candlestick Park, San Francisco. Score, the Cubs 3, the Giants 2. The Giants got on the board first in the first inning when Jackie Clark, after Joe Patini singled to center field, Clark hit a home run to left center field. It was 2-0. Then in the 3rd inning, the Cubs sent 9 men to the plate. Dillard hit a 2-run home run. They scored 3. But Vida Blue that inning pitched out of a bases-loaded jam where the Cubs had a chance to break the ball game wide open and didn't. So that's the way it stands. Cubs 3, Giants 2. It'll be Buckner, Johnson, and Martin facing Vida Blue. Blue has struck out 3. He has walked 3. Buckner 1 for 2 in the ball game. He has singled and scored a run. The peel play down to third base. Third base umpire Paul Pryor says, he didn't go. And Bristol's out of the dugout right now. The Giants dugout. He's come out 4 or 5 steps to get all over Pryor.
I can't say that I blame him, Tony.
Now he's back. Bristol, a manager at Cincinnati. 1 ball, 1 strike to Buckner. In fact, Bristol brought along a lot of those Cincinnati players, and he got fired. Sparky Anderson came along and managed the ball club to some division titles, pennant, world championships. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's Buckner on that first pitch, Joe. That's a strike.
I gotta say that he missed that play.
Buckner didn't jerk that bat back fast enough. Now it's 2 balls, 1 strike to Bill. Grounded foul past Gene Kleins, the first base coach. Look at the foul territory over there. Between the foul lines and the stands.
Tough thing about that, Tony, is that you got so far to go that the first help that you get is really that warning track. And unless you practice it, you don't know how far you are from the warning track to the wall.
2-2 to Buckner. Count goes full. Talking about Bristol, he managed his first game for the Cincinnati Reds at the age of just 33. That was in 1966. Bristol in the corner of your screen. He took over last year in September from Joe Altobelli. It did not take Dave Bristol long to establish his authority around here this year when he took one of his star pitchers and he punched him out. That was the Count, Montefusco.
That's what they call communication.
Intimate contact with your players.
That's right.
Physical contact. He said, I just couldn't stand it anymore and lost my head and swung at him. Fly ball right field. It could be off the wall. Buckner didn't run. He thought the ball was out. Clark's going to throw him out at second base. Nope, the throw is offline. But Buckner thought the ball was over the screen. The wind held it in, and he almost got thrown out by Clark.
Watch this. As soon as he hits the ball, he takes a page out of Reggie Jackson's book, and he's going to watch it. But unlike Reggie, this ball didn't go out. Now he sees it goes out. It does not go out, and here he takes off. And I tell you, Clark, if he puts it on the bag, he's out of there.
Ball hit just above the 330. Here's Jackie Clark with an outstanding throwing arm. The ball rolled around. Look at the throw. Little offline, but he almost surprised Buckner. You know, that surprised Patini, too. What if he's on the other side, the outfield side of the bag?
Just starting to say that.
If he's on the outfield side, he may get that ball and tag him out. He got surprised also. Now, with Buckner at second, nobody out, the Cubs leading 3-2 in the 5th, it's Cliff Johnson. He is 1 for 2, a single to left field. He's popped to short. He should, even though he's a cleanup hitter, take a shot to right field. Get Buckner to third base with nobody out.
Giant bullpen is getting busy, Tony.
Pretty good left-handed reliever. Off-season last year, Gary Laval. He can throw hard. 2-0 to Cliff Johnson. 2-1, says John McSherry, the home plate umpire. Buckner at second. Backing off, and then as Blue will go into his stretch, he'll kind of move toward him and lengthen his lead toward third base. Old Dodger trick. Maury Wills has taught a lot of base runners. It's kind of an optical illusion to a pitcher. He sees you walking toward him. He thinks you've got the exact same lead, but you're really walking toward him, increasing your lead, going to third base. Second base umpire Billy Williams to the right of your screen. 2 balls, 1 strike with nobody out to Cliff Johnson.
That motion you saw Blue just give to his catcher means start the signals all over again.
Changeup misses outside. 3 balls and 1 strike to Johnson. Boy, he may really have a rip at this pitch if it's a fastball, if it's in his area.
Tony, that was a pretty good indication that Johnson had no idea trying to go to the right side, because that's the perfect pitch if you're a batter. Just punch it over there. I say from the 5th inning on, I don't care who the hitter is, he's got to try to move that guy over.
He has a cut, pops it up to the right side. Mike Ivey fighting the wind. Glasses down. He's got it. 1 out.
Tough play. Believe me, that was a tough play.
It is in this ballpark, Joe. We call a World Series here in an All-Star game here. It was the All-Star game that was Stu Miller on the mound and Yogi batting. Stu Miller got blown off the mound. The wind got so severe. And it was Balk was calm. Also remember Kenny Boyer, we showed him earlier. He was playing third base for the Nationals in that All-Star game. Now an intentional walk to J.C. Martin to get to Lenny Randall. Put 2 men on base with 1 out. But Kenny Boyer had a rough day here, but the ground balls were blowing over guys' head. Dick Hauser came into the All-Star game late in he's now the manager of the Yankees, late in the ball game, and a high hopper to third blew over his head. It is a tough park to play in. Not so bad right now, but at night, with the damp and the cold and the severe winds, it's tough. So now Buckner's on second. Martin is at first with the intentional walk. Lenny Randall with 2 bases on balls in this ball game will face Blue. With a score, Cubs 3, Giants 2. Cubs have 6 hits, the Giants have 5. Neither team has committed an error. Randall, a great addition to this ball club. There are your base runners. 1 ball. Lavelle continues to throw down in the Giant bullpen. Popped up in the infield. Going in foul territory. Ivey back. He has made a nice play over his head with Clark bearing down on him. Mike Ivey with a fine play. Gets a handshake and a round of applause from the Giant fans. I'm surprised right there that Billy Buckner, when that ball was caught, didn't tag up and come to third, and now Rojas is looking at him saying, look out, here's a nice play, Joe.
It is a good play. Anytime you catch that ball over your shoulder, and Ivey, anticipating Buckner to run, just fires that ball as Patini cuts it off. And there was an exchange, as you mentioned, between Rojas and Buckner. Buckner threw up his hands as if to say, hey, Cookie, I just screwed it up. I should be over there at third.
So the Cubs continue to do some of the things for Amalfitano. They did them last night again today that they did for Preston Gomez. Now it's Figueroa. He's grounded out and he lined. A great play by Patini back in the 3rd inning. So the Cubs left the bases loaded. 3-2, Cubs over the Giants. 1 ball, no strikes with 2 outs on Jesus Figueroa. Mike Vail, a late scratch in this ball game. Ground ball. Stennett over to his left. He's got him, so Vita Blue pitches out of another one. The Cubs have now stranded 7 base runners through 5 innings. We'll go to the last of the 5th here in Candlestick Park. Cubs 3, Giants 2. And let's watch the reaction of Bill Buckner on that foul pop. Nice catch by Mike Ivey. Well, we'll be right back. The Candlestick, the score 3-2. The Cubs lead. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Channel 23, KNDO, Yakima.
Joe Garagiola, Tony Kubek, back at Candlestick Park. We'll go to the last of the 5th. The Cubs lead 3-2 over the Giants. A couple of home runs in this ball game. Jackie Clark in the 1st with Patini on. The only 2 Giant runs. Steve Dillard, a 2-run home run in the 3rd for the Cubs. Now it's Joe Patini, Jackie Clark, and Darrell Evans to face Dennis Lamb. 1 ball.
Tony Tirano, 4, and California 3 at the end of 4. A lot of home runs in that game.
1 ball, 1 strike to Patini.
Woods, Thompson, Davis, Orge, all have home runs. Oakland's at Cleveland, a later start. Everybody else tonight.
2 balls and 1 strike. Joe Malfitano with Cookie Rojas with the glasses looking on. Rojas, a man who was so instrumental. Ground ball. De Jesus charges hard. Patini can run. He gets him at first base. It's hard to say about the one out here about Rojas, who really played a big role. Orlando Cepeda, now White Sox coach, interceded for him. Orlando was having some rough times.
In the National League, it's all night action. Houston at New York, Cincinnati at Philadelphia, San Diego at Pittsburgh, Atlanta at Montreal, St. Louis at Los Angeles. And I might add that sometimes we get criticized for the games we pick. You might see that our choice was rather limited.
Oh, don't get me on that, because I got so upset. I saw a letter in the Milwaukee Journal about this is the Red Sox network, and the fans, and Joe and I don't pick the games, fans look one time, see what's available. Baseball ought to be getting the letters. Ground ball, but it's fouled by Clark.
Well, there are 3 games we could have chosen from today. This one, the California, the thing in Toronto, and the Oakland-Cleveland game. They say you never show our team.
Baseball gets paid a lot of money by a couple networks. One of those ours, and
there's a real baseball fan. What do you do with bubblegum cards if you don't save them or trade them? Paste them on ahead. Is that my card on there?
Yeah. 2 balls, 1 strike with 1 out on Jackie Clark. He's homered. 2-run home run in the first. He has walked in the third. Hit hard again to left field. Buckner back to the warning track. He's got it. He makes a lot of hard outs, Jackie Clark. If he had a lineup, of course, Mike Ivey, if he were hitting well, would be a guy who could help. And when McCovey was healthy and younger, but if he had a few big hitters around him and a bunch of guys in front, there's no telling what that guy could do. Or if he played in New York, the publicity center of the world, they would be talking a lot more about Jackie Clark because he's a super ball player. Now it's Evans, a ground out and a fly out.
They might even be saying the Magic's back and Clark's bad. The Magic, we'd have Blackstone on you.
Yeah. 2-0 to Evans.
Tony, I like when a ball's hit out of left field here because there's a lot of room between the fence and these stands, and those people come over the wall like boot camp in a Marine base or something. They come flying over that wall.
2 balls and 1 strike. Darrell Evans. Three and 1. He had some good years base on balls with Atlanta, 72, 3 and 4. He had 124, 126, 105 walks. 105 for the Giants in 78. He just walks again. Evans this year, 51 bases on balls. Billy North leads this ball club. So now it's Larry Herndon. He's grounded out and walked. Cubs 3, Giants 2. There are 2 outs. We're in the last of the 5th. Good sidearm breaking ball to Herndon. Evans, not considered to have good speed, but he has stolen 11 bases. So Cliff Johnson is holding him close. Fly ball center field. He got under it. Jesus Figueroa with a 3rd out. So after 5 here in Candlestick Park, San Francisco, the score, the Chicago Cubs 3, the San Francisco Giants 2. About Jackie Clark, you know, he might be underrated in a lot of people's eyes, so we asked him if that causes a little bitterness among him.
No, it really doesn't embitter me. I've learned a lot. I'm still getting better, and I just hope I'll just keep learning in this game. Being out here on the West Coast, you don't get the recognition I feel like you would on the East Coast, and I feel just, players around the league and everything know baseball and everything know that I'm a factor to be reckoned with.
around the league. So I just, I feel confident more or less having the players respecting the fans.
I think that's interesting, and that a lot of players will say that about the All-Star balloting too. As long as I'm recognized as a good player among my own peer group, players, managers, coaches, that'll satisfy me. So now a new pitcher for the Giants. With the score 3-2, the Cubs over the Giants, is Gary Laval, relieving Vida Blue. Blue coming off that disabled list over 30 days. They don't want to take a chance on hurting him because he's going to be very important to them. And this ball club, the Giants, still has a chance. This Western Division pennant. They've come out of nowhere. They've played so well since April. Laval, a hard thrower with a hard slider.
They've had so many injuries, too. Their disabled list is just packed, jam-packed.
At 5 on the disabled list. Fly ball. Right center field. Tim Blackwell retired by Jackie Clark.
Strain was put on the disabled list when Vida Blue came off, and they couldn't put him on the 15-day disabled list because that's already taken up with Milt May, so he's gone for 21 days.
Montefusco's on the disabled list. Joe Strain now. Blue just coming off. Milt May was put on a couple of days ago, their catcher. It's been a tough year. In fact, they've had so many injuries that the Giants have been forced to call up 9 players from their Phoenix farm team, and they've all done a good job for them. They've all contributed. They had a rough April, but they've improved steadily since April.
They just called up another one, too. Jeff Stember, a pitcher, and they've optioned Bill Bordley out. Bordley pitched last night.
2 balls. Make it 3-0 on Dennis Lamp now from Laval with 1 out. Lamp single, scored a run in the 3rd, and he flied to center field. De Jesus on deck for the Cubs. Laval walks the pitcher on 4 pitches.
Oakland and Cleveland postponed because of rain.
Don McMahon, the pitching coach on the right. Benson in the middle. Bristol talking to Mike Ivey, saying play halfway, play behind him. Lamp's not going anywhere with De Jesus stepping in. Man pitched professionally. What, he was 44, 46 years old?
Who, McMahon?
Yeah, he's still pitching professionally in the big leagues. Art Fowler the other day, he's now a coach with Billy Martin in the Oakland A's. He was still pitching professionally at age 48. So now it's De Jesus. He's struck out twice, and he's flying to right field. Off Laval, high, late.
He must be catching that ball right in the pocket because you can hear that ball pop, and that's something new. Most of these catchers use those big pillows that are like giant tweezers.
Laval had his best season for the Giants as we look at Sadek back in '77. He set a Giants club record in saves with 20, appearances 73. In fact, he led the National League in ERA most of the season. He was under 2. Fouled off by De Jesus. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Not a big crowd at Candlestick. They stay in the race. August and September. More and more will come out. Bob Lurie, the owner of the club, Speck Richardson, the general manager. They've done some kind of job here. They had pitching problems last year and injuries. 3-2, 1 out. Lamp at first. De Jesus the hitter. Giant infield on the left side, playing very shallow for De Jesus. About halfway, looking for the double play. Taking around the horn. Not going outside. De Jesus is on, so Lamp will move to second. 1 out. The Cubs have 2 men on base. And out comes Davey Bristol once again to talk to Gary Laval.
It's pretty simple what he's going to be talking about. First of all, 2 strikes and no balls. You just can't lose him to bring up the middle of the lineup, although Dillard batting second. I'm talking about Buckner, Johnson, and those guys who can break it wide open with 1 swing of the bat. He apparently has good stuff, but managers will just come leaping off the bench when you start out 2 strikes, no balls, and then forget it, walk them.
Steve Dillard with Lamp at second. De Jesus at first. Dillard been on a little bit of a hitting streak. Last 6 games, he's 6 for 16, 375. See what he's done today. He struck out, flied out, and hit a 2-run home run in the 3rd to give the Cubs that lead. 1 ball, no strikes to Steve Dillard. Started off in the Red Sox organization. Dillard, he had some severe arm problems. Going to be a shortstop. He's almost out of baseball. Fly ball left center field. Going to be trouble. Billy North playing in right center field. Chasing it all the way to the warning track. Lamp will score. De Jesus being waved down by Rojas. Here comes Dillard at third with a stand-up triple. He's having some kind of day. 4 RBIs for Steve Dillard, considered weak hitting, but not so far today through 6. Joe Billy North was playing very shallow and way over toward right center field. Not expecting him to pull the ball.
And Tony, the 2 runs that scored, the pitcher Lamp got a base on balls. De Jesus had a count of 2 strikes, no balls. He ended up walking.
That's Dillard at third with 1 ball to count on Buckner. Buckner fouled out. Since then, he has singled and doubled and scored a run. 5-2, the Cubs over the Giants. In the last to the 6th. Correction, top of the 6th. Popped up. Sadek getting instructions from Laval, but it's out of play. So now, 1 ball, 1 strike. I think it's interesting the way Laval taking his stretch. He never even looks at the runner at third base. He's taking his stretch, and then he's decoying as if he's going to throw over to first base. He did on the last pitch.
Tony, I find that defense in the infield a little bit interesting, too. Shortstop, Patini and Evans fairly close. A little bit of room up the middle.
Room up the middle on the left side. Stenton is shaded toward the second base bag of shade. Ivy off the line. A little bit of a hole between Stenton and Ivy. 1-1 with 1 out. Through the back. Short center field. Wynn holds it in the infield. Patini with that 1 hand. He's one of the few infielders you'll see. He did it last night. Catch the ball with 1 hand. You see outfielders do it all the time. So Buckner throwing his bat at it. So I'm surprised he did this because it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Wasn't a do-or-die swing for Buckner, and yet he didn't have a good one. But a good slider by Laval.
Look at Stennett. That's a good picture of Stennett battling all the way, and then Patini finally taking charge and making the play.
So now Laval will go to the windup to Cliff Johnson with Dillard at third. The Cubs lead 5-2. There are 2 outs. 1 strike. Breaking ball that came around the outside part of the plate. Way inside, 1-1. Johnson, the man who spent the time with the Yankees, then that little fight with Rich Gossage, where Gossage was out. May have gotten him traded by Mr. Steinbrenner. There's Dillard at third with Rojas. Johnson then went to Cleveland. Look out, what a cut he had on the slider.
He talks about it like he thinks it was a factor. I mean, he's not bitter about it at all, but when he came on the field, I said, I'd shake hands with you, Cliff, but I don't want to get hurt. He said, no, don't worry about it. I don't want to get traded yet. Every time I want to get traded, that's when it happens.
1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs on Cliff Johnson.
It's been a big help to this Cub ball club.
Al especially, and the ball club, the Cubs, are sitting in last place. The 3rd worst record in all of baseball. Way outside by Laval. Count goes 2-2 to Johnson. But they sure miss Kingman. We've said that before in this telecast. But with him, they might be 10 games better off in the standings. And everybody else around him might be having a better year because he creates a lot of pressures. Good breaking ball. Somehow Johnson got a piece of it and fouled it off.
At Kingman's situation, I think, Tony, like you say, he creates a lot of pressures. He creates double pressures, certainly on the opposing pitcher. And then if he does pop one, he takes a lot of heat and a lot of pressure off his own ball players. And they don't try extra.
If he hits a home run early, the pressure's off the pitching staff. If they get ahead early, it means that Suter can get rested a little more. He's a little more effective. It just sets up the whole ball club. And there are very few players, and they have to be those kind of potent players that can make that much of a difference with a ball club. But Kingman's bat makes that much difference in this game. He's missed an awful lot of ball games. So now, 3-2 with Dillard on third with 2 outs. Kingman has been in just 47 ball games, 10 home runs, 33 RBIs, 163 official at bats for Dave, hitting .264. Way outside, he didn't want to pitch. Johnson, he went to a breaking ball. So now, runners at first and third for the Cubs will bring up Jerry Martin, who was singled. Went to second on a balk by Vida Blue. He walked, and then he was intentionally walked in the 5th. Meanwhile, the Giants' bullpen is gone. And Bristol is out now to talk to John McSherry. Tom Griffin.
I think the reason Bristol's talking to McSherry because you got Ivy, Stennett, and the catcher coming up, and the pitcher. He's going to make a change.
He's going to make some change so he doesn't lose a pinch hitter. He was just clarifying with McSherry and doing it before he did it. He's going to take Lavelle out.
Whitfield is going in to play left field.
Herndon's going to leave.
And Herndon will be out, so he'll make the change.
What he will probably do is bat Whitfield in the pitcher spot 9th. And then he will put the pitcher in Herndon's spot 5th. So, going to the last of the 6th with the changes being made, there's your score. The 2 outs, Cubs 5, the Giants 2.
Cubs Pirates, or see the White Sox Red Sox splash. Check local listings for the game in your area.
Next week, on our Saturday game of the week, Joe Garagiola and I will be in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh against the Phillies. See Pete Rose, Dave Parker, Willie Stargell's back. Ron Luciano, Merle Harvard will be with the Red Sox and the White Sox. Fred Lynn, Chet Lemon, that young pitching staff of the White Sox, and all the rumors about Bill Veeck trading that ball club, or selling the ball club. I don't know if he wants to trade it, but he might want to sell it. Next Saturday on NBC Sports, check your local listing for the game in your area. New pitcher, Tom Griffin for the Giants. There are 2 outs. Cubs lead 5-2. Terry Whitfield has gone into left field, replacing Larry Herndon. He'll bat 9th. Look out. Griffin with a good fastball. Moves the hitter, Martin, away. 1 ball, no strikes. 5-2, the Cubs lead. Griffin, 32 years old, born and raised Los Angeles. Foul ball. 1-1. And you can see that is a slump. Check swing by Martin. The appeal goes down to West. Count goes 2 balls and 1 strike. Martin, before the All-Star break, that visual was a little bit messed up. Hit 262 before the All-Star break. Since the All-Star break, he's been in a horrendous slump, hitting 189. He's ahead on Tom Griffin, 2-1 with 2 outs, runners at first and third. Foul off, he had a cut, just missed. You hear that expression a million times in the bench ballpark, don't you? Just missed it. Dillard at third. He tripled home 2 runs. He has 4 RBIs in this ball game. He had a 2-run home run in the third, Steve Dillard did. Tripled Lamp and DeJesus home in this inning. Johnson's at first. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Giants trail by 3. Their third pitcher. Blue started, then Lavelle, now Griffin. Way outside, another nice play by Sadek. Count goes 3-2 with 2 outs. Johnson will be on the move. For a guy just off the disabled list, he's done a good job. And I think you're playing a day game today after he caught the night game yesterday. There's Gene Klein saying make sure he pitches before you take off. He pulled a string on a 3-2 pitch, fouled off.
I know before the game, Tony, the lineup card, the catcher spot was just left vacant by Bristol.
Well, they've got Little John also, with Milt May on the disabled list now. Sadek catching a day game after a night game. So you really stirred something up talking about day games after night games. I've seen pictures of Pignatano and Craig Swan with their zucchini. If you got that letter, all over the papers in the country. Why the zucchinis don't respond day game after night game. 3-2. Johnson off again. He walks him. So Martin's on. The bases are loaded. And it's Lenny Randall.
Got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 walks. Is that right?
8 walks. 4 this inning. 1 of those intentional in the 5th to Martin. Martin has walked 3 times in the ball game.
Base on balls last night killed him.
Now here comes Lenny Randall, who walked the first 2 times up, and then he fouled out. Hitting from the left side. Pitching from the stretch, Griffin. Chopper. Griffin on 2 easy hops over to Ivy, so Randall tops the first pitch. Griffin pitches out of it, going to the last of the 6 here in Candlestick. The score, the Chicago Cubs 5, the Giants 2. Cubs have left 10 on base. Go to the last of the 6th here with the score 5-2. The Cubs lead over the Giants. It's a nice cool day here in Candlestick, bright and sunny. Preston Gomez, recently fired by the Chicago Cubs. There he is. Joe Amalfitano's taken over the reins. Gomez managed previously with the San Diego Padres, the expansion franchise. I'll say one thing, Preston did not go peacefully because on the press conference the other day, there's Suter, Rojas, Ivy, the first hitter off Lamp. 1 ball. But Bob Kennedy, the general manager of the Cubs, said, I guess when every time you fire somebody, you lose a friend. Ivy with a line drive, and it just keeps carrying to Bill Buckner. 1 out. And Kennedy, in a little bit of scrapping back and forth, Kennedy saying in the newspapers he did not like the strategy of Gomez. Preston saying, well, I didn't like his coaching my players during spring training at the beginning of the season. He said, that's what I've got coaches for. He should keep his nose out of it. Preston also said during the course of the game, Kennedy would call down, and he refused to take the calls. He's saying, I'm the manager. So maybe there is a parting of the ways. We wish Amalfitano the best. Stennett goes after a bad pitch, 0-2 with 1 out.
Unfortunately, though, Tony, I don't care what the job is. When the boss calls, you better take his call.
During the course of a game?
During the course of anything.
Oh, nuts. It's hard enough to concentrate and keep your mind on the ball game without answering phone calls. Rennie Stennett, 0 for 2 in the ball game. Count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lamp gets him.
The general manager and the manager don't work together. You're in deep trouble.
Yeah, you got to work together, but you got to also maintain a certain kind of concentration during the course of the ball game, and I guess the manager's got to have the confidence that you're making the right moves during the course of the game. Talk to them before or after, go to dinner, but don't become Charlie Finley and call during the course of the game and try and make the moves and run the show. Sadek with 2 outs, 1 strike. Lamp has gotten in a groove since Jackie Clark's home run in that first inning, a 2-run home run. He's had 4 2/3 shutout innings.
Talking about general manager now, not owner.
Fouled off by Sadek. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Cubs 5, Giants 2. The walks have hurt the Giants today, as Joe's mentioned earlier. Pull the string, just got a piece of it. That'll stay at 1-2. Sidearm curveball fouled out of play. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Comes to the side, almost took the head of Lamp off. Drilled hard for a base hit by Sadek. Figueroa back to the infield. So now I'll bring up Terry Whitfield, who came into the ballgame the last inning when Griffin came in. Dave Bristol flip-flopped his lineup, put Griffin in Herndon's spot. The batting order 5, and Whitfield number 9. He saves a pitcher this way. Sadek 2 for 3 in the ball game.
Whitfield with his ballerina stance. Watch that front foot. There it goes.
1 strike. Whitfield hitting at .257. Been in 72 ball games. Does not have a home run. Has 12 RBIs. Look at that. Look at that front toe. 1 strike. Drill right center field. It's going to be trouble. Figueroa off to the races. The Rebels going to score. No, it is going to score. Ground rule double, so the Giants may have gotten a break. It hit the hard infield and bounced out.
Whitfield lost his shoe. He's going back for his shoe. He threw his shoe. How do you like that? Lefevre picking up his shoe. Whitfield has to laugh at that himself. He just literally threw his shoe.
A run was going to score. Sadek was almost around third base, but the ball bounced out for a ground rule double, so he's sent back. Whitfield has had a .304 lifetime batting average against right-handed pitchers, and he really teed off the right center field. A break for the Cubbies. Ground rule double. So now, with runners on second and third, the Giants are trailing by 3, 5-2 the Cubs lead. A very hard infield and outfield, as you see, and the reason it is because of the swirling winds. This wind blows the dirt into the faces of the infielders and the hitters. So it's like hard pan.
The Cub bullpen gets busy in a hurry, too.
Now it's Billy North. He's 0 for 3 in the ball game. A ground out, a fly ball, and a strikeout. North, one of those guys whose average is deceiving. He's hitting .240 now, and you would think it's a weak .240, but he gets on base so much. He sets up innings for you with his speed. He's got 61 bases on balls, leading the club. Ground ball up the middle. Swift is clear out third. Billy North with 2 RBIs. The score now: Cubs 5, Giants 4. With 2 outs, Billy North comes through, driving home 2.
Tony looked like he hit a pretty tough pitch, too. It looked like it was inside, and he was going to send it right back up the middle. Lamb couldn't get the tailgate down, and it just goes right into center field. Watch it. It's right back, right through his legs. Just didn't get the tailgate down.
Did that ball fool him, do you think? Had to. Was it softer than he thought or harder? One or the other, because the ball hit right at him. Here's Joey Malfitano now, who's asking for time, and as he comes out to talk to Lamb, Malfitano has 2 men warming up in his bullpen, a left-hander and a right-hander. So, there is Hernandez, Willie Hernandez, the left-hander, and Dick Tidrow, the right-hander.
That mound is only 60 feet 6 inches from home plate, and that ball always appears to be coming back much harder than it actually is. North muscles it. Lamp had to be fooled by the pitch because he just didn't get the tailgate down.
Joey Malfitano out to talk to Dennis Lamp. Ground ball wasn't hit that hard, but it picked up speed. He might have fielded his way out of this inning with a good play on North's bounder. Malfitano started his playing career, professional career with the Giants. He was a big bonus baby. 10 years in the major leagues. Giants, Houston, the Cubs. And in comes Dick Tidrow, a former Yankee, with 2 outs. The Cubs leading 5-4. North is on first base. Tidrow comes in to relieve Dennis Lamp for the Cubs. We'll leave you right now for this short message.
Although it was a personal victory for me and my teammates, that moment was shared by millions of fans in Brooklyn and around the world. You know, that's one of the great things about baseball. Great personal moments can be shared with others. Sharing baseball's greatest moments is what Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York is all about. The Hall of Fame preserves baseball's greatest memories and thrills. Baseball fever. Catch it at Cooperstown.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
John McSherry now has gone out to talk to the new Cubs pitcher, Dick Tidrow. Relief of Dennis Lamp. The situation is this: Cubs 5, Giants 4. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Billy North just singled home 2 Giant runs after a ground rule double by Terry Whitfield. 2 home runs in the ball game. Dillard, a 2-run home run. Also a 2-run triple. Dillard has 4 of the 5 RBIs for the Cubs. Jackie Clark has a 2-run home run in the first inning. Billy North, second in the National League in stolen bases last year with 58. He has 33 this year. Tidrow with a high leg kick.
And you know, Tony, I was just going to mention, in all his warm-up tosses, he has not gone to that high leg kick. Just wonder whether he's given up on it or if he just uses it in the game. Kind of rare, because I was watching him thinking the same thing you were, that with that leg kick, North should be able to get a pretty good jump off him.
Well, Pettini's job right now is, if North's going to go, give him a chance to read Tidrow and take a pitch or so, let him get a jump. Tidrow throws over one time for Billy North. North's high in stolen bases was in 1976 for Oakland, where he stole 75. He's stolen over 50 bases 3 other times in the major leagues. 327 total major league steals for North. Good lead from the side. 1 strike to Pettini.
He's not kicking that leg as high as he was either. He used to hide that ball.
North has read 1 move to first base. He's read 1 pitch to home plate. 1 strike, 2 outs. 5-4. The Cubs lead. Not going. He bunts. He might beat it out. Randall in fast. Going to be tough. He is safe. Cliff Johnson didn't come off the gas too soon. Randall was playing back. He made a good play, but Pettini dropped a perfect bunt. So now the tying run in scoring position at second base in North. A winning run down at first base, and the man who's got 1 home run, Jackie Clark. He's walked and line hard to left field.
And that for Pettini was his 3rd base hit of the afternoon.
Pettini has singled to center field and scored around, singled to center field again. He grounded out, now he just dropped a beautiful bunt. Jackie Clark, becoming a very popular figure here in Candlestick since McCovey left. Just 24 years old, gifted with tremendous talent. He'll face Tidrow, a tough side-arming sinker baller with a good slider. Little low, 1 ball to Clark. Clark with 20 home runs on the year, 63 RBIs. He's now lifted his average over 290. Outside again. 2-0 to Jackie Clark.
Talk about lifting your average. Pettini's now up to 277. Came into the game hitting 240 as we look at Billy North at second and Pettini at first.
5-4. The Cubs lead over the Giants. We're in the bottom of the 6th. 2-0 with 2 outs on Jackie Clark. Clark taking a lot of time. Now Blackwell out for a conference with Dick Tidrow. A change of signs with the veteran North down at second base, just getting everything straight. Evans is the on-deck hitter for the Giants. The flags out in center field indicate the wind is blowing very strong to the left, but you never know in Candlestick the way it swirls. Now completely enclosed from the side. Tidrow now goes 3 balls, no strikes to Jackie Clark, who is looking down at Jimmy Davenport, his third base coach. And you got to believe they don't want to take the bat out of this guy's hand. They'll give him the go-ahead. There's Davenport. Game-winning hits for Jackie Clark, leading the lead hard to center field. Right at Figueroa on the warning track. So 3-0. Clark wailed away, hit it hard, but couldn't get it over the head of Figueroa. So after 6 here in Candlestick, the score: the Cubs 5, the Giants 4, and we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
In the morning, it's people, fun, and games with David Letterman, Wheel of Fortune, Password Plus, and Card Sharks. It's a brand new morning, weekdays on NBC.
Are you missing out on the biggest sale of the...
KNDO Yakima.
Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek here at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. A beautiful afternoon for baseball and quite a ball game. The Cubs leading the Giants 5-4. We're in the 7th inning. And tomorrow on Sports World, Moscow once more, 1980 Olympics. That's a special edition of Sports World. They'll go right from Afghanistan to the winter stand, step by step. Battle of Britain. Cohen Ovett will be there. Nadia and Alexandra Ditiatines, 8 medals. So join host Bryant Gumbel along with Bruce Jenner and many others as Sports World will review Moscow once more tomorrow. Figueroa takes the first pitch, and it's a strike. 11,505 the attendance here at Candlestick. Dodgers went over the 2 million mark last night. Hot smash. Ivy,
boy.
what a play. He flips to the pitcher and 1 out. Beautiful play by Mike Ivy.
Joe, after he shied away from the stands or that ball got in the sun early in the ball game, he has made really 2 excellent plays and 1 other tough one when the ball got in the sun, but this is just a great play. He was kind of guarding the line. He backhands the ball, starts taking himself. Nice bare hand flip to Griffin to show him the ball, but he made that play and that one going over his shoulder in foul territory, which are just 2 excellent plays.
And that's a young man that's been having all kinds of personal problems. The players, everybody trying to help him through a tough period. Here's Blackwell. Takes it high, ball 1. Here's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike, 1 out. Chicago 5, San Francisco 4. We're in the 7th. Tom Griffin. 2 strikes. Born in Los Angeles, 6'3", 210 pounds, was signed as a free agent in 1979. Named the Sporting News National League Rookie Pitcher of the Year. Line drive down the right field line. This is going to be extra bases. Blackwell rounding first, digging hard for second. He'll stop. Double. And it brings up Tidrow. Dick Tidrow. Tidrow replaced Lamp. 1 man out. 5-4. Cubs lead. We're in the 7th. Outfield moves in close. Right center field. North over there. Makes the catch. That ball was pretty well hit. It looked like it was starting to take off. North hauls it in.
Now, so Tidrow now's got a big 0 for 2 for the season. That's only his 2nd at bat.
Now Sadek wants to talk to his pitcher, Tom Griffin. DeJesus comes up to bat. DeJesus has struck out twice, walked and scored in the 6th, and he flied to right, so he's 0 for 3. Giant bullpen continues to loosen up.
DeJesus, one of those guys, I think, because there's so many exceptional shortstops in the National League, has gone overlooked. You know, the new guys coming in, Smith, San Diego, and Gary Templeton now, and the older guys, I hate to say the older guys, there's Greg Minton warming up, the right-hander for the Giants, but I hate to say the older guys, but Concepcion and Boa, and they get all the attention.
So what's happening?
Davey will get mad. We call him old at 32. As I said, we call him old now, including you.
Yeah, but he'll holler at me. He'll come up and tell you how great you are. 2 balls and no strikes. You just hear him now. Hey, Baldy.
Uh-huh. What you do to me? What you say about me?
He's a good guy, Davey. 5-4. Cubs lead. 2 balls, no strikes on DeJesus. There are 2 outs. Blackwell at second. Curveball is a beauty. 2-1 to count. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Foul tip, held on to. It's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. We're in the 7th inning. Forget our 7th inning stretch coming up here with the Hall of Fame tomorrow. The Duke of Flatbush will be featured in our 7th inning stretch. The Duker will be going into the Hall of Fame tomorrow.
I think that's great, but I'm wondering why did it take the writers so long to get him in there? Remember when Mays, Mantle, and the Duke were all in center field? The 3 teams were there, and they used to compare them, who's the best. When they were comparing those guys, Duke with Mays and Mantle, why did it take them so long, the writers, to vote him in?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Did he go around? Yes, he did. DeJesus is struck out for the 3rd time this afternoon. That ends the 7th inning. The score, The Chicago Cubs 5, the San Francisco Giants 4. Now here's another installment of our 7th inning stretch. It's a Hall of Famer.
Old Spice presents the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Old Spice Aftershave and Cologne, a fresh, clean, masculine scent women love.
Duke Snider played with cool intensity and a regal touch of disenchantment. When he first joined the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947, his swing was majestic, but too wild and eager. Duke learned quickly to ignore unworthy pitches, and his lively power paced the National League in home runs and RBIs. A Dodger for 18 years, Duke's lifetime slugging percentage is one of the highest on record, and his subjects feasted whenever the Duke hoisted a homer over the wall into Bedford Avenue. Duke also had a commanding presence in center field, and in 6 World Series, he made several unforgettable catches. Joining an illustrious group of teammates in the Hall of Fame, he remains the Duke of Flatbush, the beloved sovereign of the underdog.
When a man wears Old Spice, chances are he'll always get a warm reception. No wonder. The clean, fresh, masculine fragrance of Old Spice is a scent that women know and love. So when you're wearing Old Spice, the invitation is clear. It can really spice up your life.
Put a little spice in your life with Old Spice.
Duke Snider. Hope you enjoyed that. Ebbetsfield. Boy, memories. You talk about memories, Tony, as we wait for Darrell Evans to come up. Wrigley Field is the only ballpark still standing that I played in, and Candlestick, this one.
No.
In the National League, yeah, everything else is gone. This is the second oldest league park in the league, Candlestick.
Is that right?
You believe that?
No.
What's older outside of Wrigley Field?
White Sox Park.
We welcome those of you watching the Toronto game. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning here in Candlestick. The Cubs are leading 5-4. And Dick Tidrow is the pitcher for Chicago. Darrell Evans will lead it off. We've got a pinch hitter in the on-deck circle for the Giants since the pitcher spot is next. There's the strike to Evans. Roger Metzger is a pinch hitter, scheduled to bat for Griffin. Way outside, Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek here in San Francisco. Cubs 5 runs, 8 hits and no errors. The Giants 4 runs, 9 hits and no errors. Dillard a home run, he's had a big day. Straight away center field. Figueroa hauls it in, 1 out. So with 1 away, a pinch hitter, Roger Metzger. And what a story this is, Tony.
I tell you, I talked to him on the bench yesterday. First time I'd seen him since his tragic accident where, with a radial arm saw doing some carpentry work, he cut the 4 fingers of his right hand off. Did you look at that, Joe?
I saw him in spring training at the ballpark in
never
Phoenix,
play
Tony. And I tell you, it was amazing to watch him. He just battled back, and he's here.
Well, he's somehow able to throw a ball. I tell you, you talk about shortstops. He was kind of a pioneer on artificial surface coming out of the Astrodome. And he can pick it. Quick, fast, accurate arm, cover a lot of ground.
Outside, Metzger. Born in Fredericksburg, Texas. They bought him from Houston. Cash consideration, June 15, 1978.
He will never have a job, I don't think, never have a hard time getting a job in baseball. He's such a student of the game and such a hard worker that if he wants a coaching job, I've got to believe he'll get one.
I agree with you. That should be an upset right there. Be agreeing with you. 2-2 pitch, outside, 3-2. Giants trail by 1, 5-4 Cubs. Ball 4, time run is on. California, 2 runs in the 8th inning, now have 5. Toronto 4 at the end of 8. Metzger, the base runner.
And the Giants have got a little speed on first base in Roger Metzger. You can't take him too lightly in a steal situation. He goes from first to third very well, and he can score on a long single.
Here's Mike Ivy. Ivy's hit the ball hard. Doubled in the second, lined hard in the sixth. Foul to the catcher his other time. Takes it low, ball one.
Ivy's really had trouble since coming off that surgery on his right hand, holding on to the bat. I think he's doing a lot of therapy, a lot of exercise to strengthen it. He said it's frustrating for him because he sees pitches that guys are getting by him that they never used to. He's seen the ball so well.
Low outside, full foul. With one man out, you can see what Titro and his catcher Blackwell are trying to do. Keep that ball low to get the ground ball, natural sinker baller, and to keep it outside, hoping that Ivy tries to pull it and hits that routine ground ball to the shortstop or third baseman. Metzger's on at first. Giants trail by a run. Popped up behind the plate, out of play. It's a personal problem that Mike Ivy has, and his manager, Dave Bristol, doing everything he can. Here's what he had to say about it.
Well, Joe, Mike has had some problems in the past, and he's had some problems earlier in the year when he cut his finger and had to have a lot of stitches, and a lot of things just welled up within him, and sometimes they got too much for him to handle. But we've tried as best we can as a manager and as 24 players. We've tried to help him as much as we could because he knows that he's important to this ball club. And I know each day that he might be up a little bit, or 2 days ago he was really down, so I took him out of the lineup. And I'm man enough to admit that every day's not going to be perfect for all of us. All of us have problems, and we're going to try to work them out with him and try to keep him on our ball club because he can help us once he gets back to a situation where he can help.
And right there, Dave, very prophetic. Ivy has helped the ball club by putting the tying run at third by hitting the right field.
And he was shooting right in that area. This kid's had a good day, and you can see the cheers are being led by a man that knocked him earlier. First base coach Jim Lefevre over slapping him on the back. Ivy said some things about ball club and baseball that Lefevre took seriously. Since Ivy's apologies, did Metzger go from first to third? He had to avoid that ball, and he still made it.
So here is Rennie Stennett now. One man out. Tying run is at third. Lead run is at first. Low and inside. Dave Bristol talking about Mike Ivy made no bones about it after we had that conversation that we first worry about Ivy as a human being. And that begins right at the top with Bob Lurie, Speck Richardson. They're worried about him as a human being, and secondly as a player.
Look at this. Base hit. Right field. Ivy stopped at second.
The Giants have tied it up here in the bottom of the seventh inning. The tiebreakers on at second base. Mike Ivy on at first base is Rennie Stennett. The batter is Sadek. The Cub bullpen really starts to heat it up.
And Joe Ivy and Stennett did just what you'd like to see hitters try and do on a sinker ball like Chipper, go the opposite way. But that's easier said than done, because when he pours that sinker down in, he got nothing to do but pull it. They still went the opposite way.
Off the handle, Cliff Johnson battles it. Infield fly. Sadek is out. Here is Whitfield. Whitfield came in the game. He's in the ninth position, and he doubled and came in to score in the sixth inning when the Giants scored 2 runs. Whitfield, a good hitter. He's at the first pitch. He doesn't wait for anything. That ball's near the plate. He's going to go to whacking. California 5, Toronto 4. That's a final score.
Right side of the infield now for the Cubs playing deep in this tie ball game with 2 outs. They want to knock that ball down. Keep it from going to the outfield. You want to dive or do anything you can. Hot smash. Pass drops into right field. Here comes Ivy. The throw is going to be close. Safe. Out for Ivy. And I'll tell you once again, the Cubs making a fundamental mistake. Martin in right field makes a high throw. That's bad enough in itself. He didn't get the run. It would have been a tough throw anyway. But by overthrowing the cutoff man, they take themselves out of a force situation. Whitfield going to second base. Another fundamental lapse.
It looked like they would have had a chance to get him. They're going to intentionally walk Billy North to set up the double play situation now. That's what the high throw caused. Looked like they had a chance to get him, Tony.
Yeah, it did. Martin came up throwing from right field. Cliff Johnson really wasn't in cutoff position as we see Ivy scoring with the go-ahead run because Cliff Johnson was lying on the ground. A low throw, there might have been a chance. Right here while the ball is bouncing away. I'll tell you, that would have been some kind of collision on a low throw. Ivy cut the third base bag. He's not fast, but he cut third base very sharply, Joe. He didn't really round it way off into the dugout like some do. He might have made the play with that. He's got a good day.
So here is Patini now with the bases loaded, 2 men out.
Look at Randall this time. He's in at third. Patini dropped the bunt on him last time.
There's his strike. 6-5, the Giants have taken the lead. Bouncing ball. Randall deflects it. Who runs the score? Heading for third is North, and the second is Patini. We welcome those of you who have been watching the Toronto game. That final score there is in 5-4. And right here, the Giants, 8-5, has just taken the lead. A 5-4 win for California over Toronto. The Giants, 4 big runs here, and still batting.
I'll tell you one thing, the kid shortstop, Joe Patini, who just singled off Randall's glove, drove home 2 runs. He's got a 4-for-5 day going, Joe. 4 base hits.
Had a
Joe
big
Patini.
day. Mike Ivy's had a big day. Jackie Clark has hit the ball hard 3 times, only has 1 base hit. That was a 2-run homer. He takes it low.
I guess you got to score Patini's last one a double, don't you? The ball went off the glove, got by De Jesus, 2 runs scored. Buckner came in, got it right behind the infield. Had no play at second base.
That's right. Double off the third baseman's glove. Got hit hard.
Barely reached the outfield grass.
Word we get is that they're giving him a single, but we're going to check it with our runner.
Well, they may give him a single, but it's going to be scored eventually a double because there was no other throw.
I don't know how they
went to second base. The kid beat it.
I agree with you. 3 balls, 1 strike now. Base runners at second and third. Billy North is on at third. Patini is on at second. Clark in a 3-0 pitch hard his last time up. Now has another triple to take a shot at. There's his strike. He takes it all away, so it's a full count.
He's hit the ball hard 3 times in this ball game. A 2-run home run in the first, then he walked, lined out to left, and hit it hard to center field of the warning track.
It is scored a double, Tony.
This game turned around in a hurry, didn't it?
Oh, didn't it, though? Foul back. This inning started a fly ball by Evans and walk to Metzger, a single by Ivy in the right field, a single by Stennett. Sadek popped to the first baseman. Whitfield singled. North was intentionally walking, and Patini hit the double off Randall's glove. 4 runs are in. Hot smash foul. Clark has a home run. Hit that in the first inning. The only home run for the Cubs was by Dillard. That was in the third. Dillard's had a big day for the Cubs. Triple, 2 RBIs, home run, 2 RBIs.
When you look at Tidner, he's kind of done his job. The 2 outs he's got have been fly balls. Everything else has been on the ground. They've been the base hits.
High fly ball, deep to left field. Figueroa has room. Makes the catch. So that ends the inning. The end of 7. The score here. San Francisco 8, Chicago Cubs 5.
In a battle of the unbeaten, with the winner taking a step toward a title shot Friday.
Well, 9 men went to bat for the Giants in that 7th inning. They scored 4, and they lead now by the score of 8-5 as we go into the 8th inning. And right now, let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Channel 23, KNDO, Yakima.
Greg Minton is the new pitcher for San Francisco. Remember tonight now, BJ, my man, 2-hour special. BJ's Holland Sheriff Kane's runaway daughter, and the sheriff will do anything to stop him. That's tonight, BJ. And then the 6 o'clock Follies are back. Plus Stan tries to pass himself off as Harry and get the girl of his dreams on NBC's new comedy hit, Good Time Harry. So that's tonight. BJ and the Bears, 6 o'clock Follies, and Good Time Harry. All on NBC tonight. There's the strike.
You're reading that BJ promo so often these days, you're starting to sound like a Southern boy.
BJ. Oh, man, how can I forget opening the season? BJ
Wiped
and
him out.
became good friends. I hope. Pop fly in the infield. Evans makes the play.
New pitcher Greg Minton, he's leading this staff in saves with 9. 3-3 record, 2.55 ERA. His 45th game, all in relief. Like last year, while this Giants staff was crumbling, he had a pretty decent year.
They got him from Kansas City for catcher Fran Healy back in 1973. Born in Lubbock, Texas. Lives in El Granada, California. Greg Minton. Bill Buckner. It's low, ball 1.
Buck with a chance at that National League batting title.
Tell you, boy, that's quite a race.
Hendrick, Hernandez are in there. Templeton before he got hurt. It's close, isn't it?
It's Hendrick 328, Templeton 326. In fact, Buckner's up to 322, which ties him with Trio. Reggie Smith, 323. Templeton, as I said, 326. McBride, 318. Steve Henderson, 316. Bouncing ball. Patini, long throw, gets in. Good race. National League West, good race. National League East, good race. American League, Kansas City leads Oakland by 12. Texas by 12.5. American League East, Yankees 7.5 over Baltimore, 8.5 over Detroit. That thing's not over.
I was just looking at that last routine play that Patini made. The day that Patini's had 4 for 5. He also made a big play, Joe, that dive to his left with the bases loaded to rob Figueroa of a couple of RBIs and a base hit. Kept the Cubs from cracking this ball game open in the 3rd. He's had a real fine day.
I'll tell you, Tony, as we look at him, he came into the game hitting 240. He's going to call Mama tonight and say, guess what, Mama, I'm hitting 290. Put another piece of lasagna on the stove for me, or meatball with some seams. He's had a big day.
Now with LeMaster out, he injured his hand. Metzger out with those fingers.
Boy, the lifeblood of any ball club, still the farm system.
How about the fellow we met yesterday, Jack Schwartz?
Oh,
traveled those minor leagues, knows every stat on every kid and every tendency they have and everything about it. He's been around a long time and knows this game.
Big cut. And I'll tell you, I bet you there's a guy in Phoenix right now that's watching this ball club that knows a lot of these youngsters. King Carl Hubble. Mr. Stoneham lives there. Just can't turn it on and off like water faucet. Sadek has to be. Don't be a litter bug. That's right.
Did you finally get Carl Hubble's signature last year on your Hall of Fame ball collection?
Yes,
he was
I
out.
did.
Remember last year he was supposed to be here, and
yeah,
Lefty Gomez filled in. Carl couldn't make it.
Right.
Transportation
I got him at the All-Star game. Big swing. Johnson, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
How many do you have, Hall of Fame signatures?
Mr. George Sisler, Mickey Cochran, Rogers Hornsby, Carl Hubble, DiMaggio.
You got to have Musial and Berra. I mean, the
modern guys, I'm not even counting. I'm talking about those older fellas. Bouncing ball in the hole. Patini, one hand again. Hot dog, got him. He put it on a little bit. 3 up, 3 down. We go in the bottom half of the 8th inning. It's the San Francisco Giants 8, the Cubs 5.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
When do you think I'm going to start shaving?
It's going to be a few years, son. But when you do, you got something great to look forward to.
Aquavelva, right, Dad?
Right. Aquavelva's real cooling. It picks you up after a shave. And it's got a fresh, clean fragrance that the girls in your class are going to love. Aquavelva. It makes a man
Feel like a man, right, Dad?
All right.
There's something about an Aquavelva man.
I know. Highlights that will separate the 22nd Olympiad forever, plus a tribute to the American athletes tomorrow.
Well, I just wonder, right about now, if things had gone right, we'd be coming home from the Olympics, some of us, and there's been a lot of controversy. And tomorrow on Sports World, they're going to take a pretty good look. The 8 medals that I had to write it down phonetically. Diatinas, 8 medals.
Nadia Comaneci,
right?
New pole vault record by a nice Polish lad. About 18 feet 11, new high jump record.
We got the Battle of Britain, too. Don't forget that.
Colin Ovett, but I think the way to look at it, if you watch it, and I'm sure most of you will, I will, and you will, Joe, is kind of a tribute to our athletes who didn't get a chance to go, but were honored in Washington by the president. And quite marvelous. Some still disagreed with the boycott. But if you look at it, that they are the ones being honored, and they've gotten gold medals approved by Congress.
Oh, they're on the team. I mean, when you watch it like Luganis, you just wonder. You just know he would have gotten a gold
Al
medal.
Erter, back for how many Olympics would that have been for him? 4, 6? Can't keep track.
Well, tomorrow on Sports World, you'll see it step by step from Afghanistan, actually, right to the winner's circle. Brian Gumbel will be the host. Bruce Jenner will be there. Any number of people. Some of our athletes. Tomorrow, Sports World. Right now, Hernandez fires a fastball that misses.
I think he's upset for that. Look at this. He's just disgusted and
threw a strike.
Not acting too professionally.
Cliff Johnson came in as if to say, hey, there's a pitcher out there. We got something going here. I'll tell you, it's more than just a ball game. We're liable to see something.
Well, Cliff, my wait till he gets into the dugout.
We might have to follow him right into the dugout to see what's happening. Because we may have a little bit of a meeting here.
Like, don't you dare show me up in front of all these people and a national television audience.
You just wave that Big Johnson away, and I'll tell you something. When you do that, you better be careful.
Ivy gotten some boos earlier. Now you hear the chant in the background for Ivy. This guy's a good hitter.
Upside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs got Hernandez. They drafted him from the Philadelphia Phillies Oklahoma City Ball Club. Major League draft of '76. 2 balls and 1 strike. 6'2", 180-pounder. Born in Aguada, Puerto Rico. Willie Hernandez. Last year with the Cubs, he was 4-4 out of the bullpen. Fouled out of play.
Well, you can see that right hand of Ivy just fly off the bat. He just can't keep it on there, Joe, after that surgery.
Ivy's had a good day today. He's 2 for 4, double in the second inning. Scored a run after he singled in the 7th when the Giants scored 4. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Lays off, and it's a base on balls. Mike Ivy draws the walk. And that brings up Rennie Stennett. Stennett singled and scored in that 4-run 7th. In fact, Ivy and Stennett hit identical singles to the opposite side off the sinker baller Tidrow. 8-5. Bottom of the 8th inning. Outside, ball 1. In the 9th inning for Chicago, it'll be Martin, Randall, and Figueroa. One ball and 1 strike. Willie Hernandez.
This Giant ball club's been tough here in Candlestick. They're 29-18, 6-15, 1-loss percentage here in Candlestick. In fact, their pitchers have really been super. Got an earned run average just over 2.5 in Candlestick.
Fouled out of play.
They got a lot of young kids pitching too, since Montefusco's been out, Blue out for over a month. Moffitt's out. He's been one of the aces out of the bullpen for a bunch of years out here. He's been hurting.
They've been running a shuttle between Phoenix and here, and Shreveport for that matter. One ball, 2 strikes. Foul tip. Didn't hold it. And you know, mentioning Phoenix and the young ball players, Tony, you can't mention all the minor league managers, but living there now, Rocky Bridges has really done a job.
He's one of my favorites in yours, too.
Oh, mine, too.
He's a legend.
There's so many guys like Rocky, really the lifeblood of the Major League club, what they do. Fouled out of play. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 8-5. Giants are leading. Hernandez against Stennett. Two men out. Struck him out on strikes. So that completes 8 innings of baseball here, and the score here, Giants 8, Cubs 5, Martin, Randall, and Figueroa for the Cubs in the 9th.
Desert where life is a stranger. You carve a channel.
Wheel of Fortune, Password Plus, and Card Sharks. It's a brand new morning, weekdays on NBC.
11,505 here at Candlestick Park, and they're watching their Giants lead the Chicago Cubs 8-5 here in the 9th. Now, this telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. And any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Jerry Martin, he's walked 3 times. Cubs have had the chances, I'll tell you. Left 3 on in the 3rd, 3 on in the 6th, 2 on in the 5th, 2 on in the 2nd. Greg Minton against Jerry Martin. Ball 1. One 1-0 pitch. Foul tip, 1-1. Only 11,000 here, but they're having some time at the ballpark. Low misses. 2-1 to count. Jerry Martin, Lenny Randall, and Jesus Figueroa. Cubs trail by 3. Popped up. Mike Ivy, first base in foul territory, 1 out. So there's 1 away, and it brings up Lenny Randall. Greg Minton has done quite a job for these Giants. He's not allowed a home run in his last 133 2/3 innings. Last home run was on September 6, 1978. He's going for his 10th save. 1 out here in the 9th. Giants lead by 3, 8-5 is the score. Randall has walked twice. Takes the pitch low, ball 1. In fact, he walked with the bases loaded and picked up an RBI. Then he fouled to the first baseman Ivy and tapped back to the pitcher. Outside, 2-0 the count. Tony Kubek has worked his way down to the field for a possible interview. There's a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. Next week, the Philadelphia Phillies and the Pittsburgh Pirates. And today, right now, Pittsburgh, virtual tie with Montreal. Phillies 2 games out. High chopper. Rennie Stennett at second base has it. 2 away. Two outs, nobody on, and Figueroa is the batter. The crowd starts to head for that exit. Minton, who is looking for his 10th save, been doing a job, and many of the Giant fans confident that he's going to nail it down right here. Had a good look at that hollowed out end of the bat. Many ball players feel they can get more weight into the bat, better balance by the hollow end. Bouncing ball up the middle. Stennett's going to have to hustle. He can fly. He'll not get him. It's a base hit for Figueroa. So Figueroa is on. It brings up Blackwell. Blackwell lined to the second baseman in the second, and he flied to right in the third and flied to right in the sixth. Two men out. Base runner on at first. High, ball 1. Larry Bittner's come out in the on-deck circle for the Cubs, be the pinch hitter. Boy, these races getting tighter and tighter. Next Saturday, as we mentioned, Phillies, Pirates be a dandy. Fouled out of play. There are the standings. That Philadelphia 2 out, Pittsburgh a virtual tie. Red Sox and the White Sox are other games, so you check your listings for the game in your area. Here's the 1-1 pitch now. Low, 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Outside, 3-1. Minton's got a 3-run lead. The National League West, the San Francisco Giants, 6.5 games out. Cincinnati 4, Dodgers a half. So it's still going pretty good there. There's 4 teams in the hunt there. San Diego's on a little bit of a streak in last place, all right, but it's going to get interesting. Draws the base on balls, and man, that sends the manager right to the water cooler. 8-5, and now the tying run comes to the plate in Larry Bittner, and that's what really runs you up a wall. Blackwell drawing a base on balls, no reflection on his hitting ability, but that's the one guy you don't want to walk. He came into the game hitting .246. He only has 3 home runs. Make him hit the ball. There's some kind of defense against a ball that's hit, but the base on balls, forget it. All that does is send managers to the funny farm. Here's Bittner. Bittner has 1 home run. He's driven in 20 runs, hitting .276. Two outs, 9th inning, tying run at the plate. Strike. Greg Minton against Larry Bittner, a pinch hitter. It gets away from the catcher. Both runners advance. Looks like it'll be scored as a wild pitch. Sadek, who's been digging him out all afternoon, couldn't come up with it. It is scored a wild pitch. Looked like it bounced. One of those 58-foot curveballs. 8-5, Giants lead. Now, for those of you on the East Coast, nightly news will be coming up right after the game. On the West Coast, it'll be at the normal time. High chopper. Ivy gets it, flips to Minton. That's it. The ball game is over. And the Giants defeat the Chicago Cubs by the score of 8-5. And we'll be right back right after these messages.